This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red, an infrared light, has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Morning, boys and girls. It's a beautiful Friday. Polygon is exploding up to $1.47. Oh, yeah, baby. It's a crypto morning. Yeah. And listen, I told you guys yesterday, right? Don't buy parabolic. Wait. There'll be consolidation. There'll be capitulation. And sure enough, it happened yesterday. And it went into the high 23s. Now I think it's crossing back over to 24,000 Bitcoin. I think it's going to go to 25 today. Maybe even 26 over the weekend. We shall see, baby. I am as bullish as it gets right now. But, yeah. Good stuff, man, as we got a beautiful Crypto Friday. Crypto's helping me get through this week basketball and hockey season that we're going through. Although Panthers won last night. They kicked the Capitals' ass last night, 6-3. That was good, dude. That was a good game last night. I enjoyed that. That one kind of made me feel, okay? Am I too much to what? How is it? Now is it? Now, am I going? There we go. Okay. Hey, you got this thing. Like, I got to, like, I'm sitting next to you pretty much already. And we've got, like, this big-ass table. I'm supposed to be on the other side. Damn. All right. So here we go. So now we're set. We're kind of set. Tax season is here. There you go. I like it. I like it. Scan now, baby. Scan it.
Eugenio and Alan put that one together and sent it over to me.
There you go. Good. I like it. I like it. We need it. So there you go. If you got to do your taxes, I know we're doing our personal and business taxes, because we got a business here on the Big O Radio Show. And so KSDT is handling our business and our personal taxes and crypto. Although crypto's going to help me a lot this year in taxes. No, it's going to help me because I took.
Did it hurt you at all last year?
Yeah. I took a real beating here in 2022 because all I did was buy and hodl all year, and then you have the services that you pay. 2%, 3%. That's your losses right there. I didn't lose as in selling.
You didn't sell off. Yeah,
I didn't remember. You don't make or lose until you actually sell. So I hodled only. I only hodl. And so, but throughout the year, as you hodl, you're losing money because you're paying a service fee. So yeah, so that'll help me in my taxes, taking a beating. Now, maybe in a year and a half from now, hopefully, I'm taking profits. Then
gotcha. Okay.
Then the government will be collecting from my ass.
I wasn't even. I'm thinking 23, not 20. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's where I was like.
Yeah, because the last 14 months has been 15 months has been like a bear market, and now we're kind of getting. Now we're coming out of it. I'm pretty sure we're coming out of it now. A lot earlier than I expected. I thought it was going to be the second half of this year. And so it's just crazy stuff, man. Anyway, Ray Sosa says, credit to you, Big O, for finding stuff to these days outside of Vic coming to Miami. There's nothing to talk about. Heat and Panthers have been so mediocre, hard to watch, and hard to get you to get excited about them and talk about them and all that stuff. You know what I mean? That's why I haven't even brought on, had gone with the season, and I will hopefully there. But what am I going to do? Call him like, what did I do yesterday to David? I just beat up the Panthers for David, and that's all you can do right now. There's nothing to praise. There's nothing to praise about the Heat either. It's tough, man. It's not an easy time to do a sports talk show, but we'll talk crypto, we'll talk music. We'll get through it all. And I'm starting to think that I got to start doing a crypto show at least 3-4 times a week now. Starting to think about that instead of just tomorrow at 1:00 will be our crypto show. Saturdays at 1 I'm trying to do, but I'm starting to think that we need to start doing a daily show almost, and a short one, 20 minutes, half hour, something like that. Although knowing me, I can just keep rattling and talking, and before I know it, it's a 2-hour show. And like, oh wow, like this past Saturday, I did a show. It was 47 minutes long. I was like, holy crap! I talked for 40. I didn't even realize that it was actually that long. Nelson says, Orlando, the other day you were saying how Fangio helped the Eagles, really didn't accomplish much. Well, he helped the offense. The offense scored 35 points, the most KC had scored. They scored 11 in the second half, my brother, when it counted. I'm just saying, that's it's kind of like the Chargers with Herbert. They scored 30-something. Yeah, they scored 3 in the second half. Yeah. It depends on how you want to look at it, You got to turn it on. See, the Chiefs had a bad first half, and then they turned it on in the second half, offensively and defensively. Okay? And they still didn't get a sack. So, I don't know. Fangio didn't help them in getting any sacks. It would have helped if they could actually pressure Mahomes. And I know they said that he was there to help also the offense, but I mean, I saw the interview with the defensive coordinator praising, the help he gets from Fangio. So, spin however you want. I'm going to look at 11 points in the second half. When they needed you to score points, you didn't score points. And, so that's we'll agree to disagree on that one, Nelson. Let's see. Don't overdo it. Got to keep that voice going, sir. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. But I think the crypto thing, I think it's a show that can grow a lot. I think we can grow a lot. And one of the reasons why I'm also, in a way, it's kind of like sports. We get too much FUD in sports. We get too many people talking crap in sports that don't know what the hell they're talking about. And then they throw irresponsible things out there. And so usually I kind of find myself having to correct all that crap out there and bring you guys off the ledge. Okay? Whether it's Fangio or, oh my God, we got like some guy told me, a week ago or a week and a half, they've, once these guys start negotiating new deals, Tua's going to want a new deal. They better hurry up and tag him. I'm like, relax, dude. I don't know where you're listening to this crap from, but they don't need to tag. They don't need to rush anything. Tua has zero leverage. Hurts has leverage. Burrow has leverage. Tua has no leverage. Relax. These are the FUD things that we got. The Lamar Jackson crap. They would never. They're not even thinking about Lamar Jackson. Even if they had the draft capital to trade, they'd be using it to improve the team. But you would have others tell you, well, no, they can't think of Lamar because they don't have the ammo. No, dude, they don't think Lamar because they don't want Lamar. But you want to spread FUD. And so in a way, I want to do that with crypto because there's a lot of FUD, right? I get some of you out there and listen, you're stupid on crypto because you listen to stupid people and then you repeat it. It's not your fault. Your ignorance is not your fault. You know what I mean? It's like, well, there's something wrong with crypto. No, dude, there's nothing wrong with crypto. FTX has nothing to do with crypto. Celsius has nothing to do with crypto. Three Arrows Capital has nothing to do with crypto. These are exchanges and DeFi platforms. Crypto is fine. Nothing's wrong with Matic. Nothing's wrong with Bitcoin. Nothing's wrong with Cardano. They didn't split Ethereum. None of this crap that happens in the real financial world and all the FUD that they do. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of no. And that to me, that's what I need to do. I need to bring in a little bit of, logic to all of this and balance. So when those of you out, and I get it, listen, those of you that don't follow crypto, don't know anything about it, you still listen to some idiot on MSNBC because you think he's on MSNBC and I'm some schmuck on a platform. So you think I don't know. And just because it says MSNBC, you think that person knows, which it's not true. But whatever, that's fine. But I try to explain it to people, right? And so I think for football and for basketball or for baseball or for sports, period, in general here in town, I try to keep it a little more level-headed than most. And yeah, I'm critical, but if I'm critical, it's because you probably deserve it. And I make a case and I show you why and I tell you why. But I don't do stuff just to throw it out there to create FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, for those of you that don't know what FUD means. And you do it in sports. It happens in crypto. So for me, that's why I want to do this. So that's the reason why I'm kind of getting a little bit more inspired to do maybe a little bit more, on the crypto side on a daily basis, because there's too much misinformation out there. Okay? It's just too much. And it happens also in sports. It's too much because there's a 24-hour cycle. You got to fill space. And so you got to come up with BS. That's all. So that to me is the reason why I feel compelled to do it at times. But to a time, thank you, sir, for looking out for the voice. Appreciate that very much. That is very kind of you. Let's see. What else do we have? Eagles made no halftime adjustments, seems like. Either way, bro. Bottom line, KC turned it up in the second half, and the Eagles didn't. And KC got it done, and that's why they won the championship, and the Eagles did not. Mike Tomlinson says, morning, could you see moving Brandon Jones to a linebacker safety hybrid because his speed, solid, and he's a good tackler? I don't think so. I don't think he's big enough to put him at linebacker. And especially if you're going 3-4, your backers got to be pretty bigger players because they've got to carry more of the load than normal linebackers. So, no, I don't think so. I don't think that's the case. Either he conforms and can play this kind of safety that he needs, or he might be in a rotation type of deal. Let's see. What else do we have? Eagles did what they always do best in the Super Bowl. Choke. Jamie says, Big O, the way I see Fangio's deal with the Eagles is like with Greer. He was there to help, but at the end of the day, he didn't call the shots. Same logic. I agree. Makes sense. He wasn't calling the defense. You're right about that. But whatever it was, their scheme wasn't good enough to get to Mahomes, which was super impressive. The way they were able to keep him, bottled up and safe. Ray says, let's see if Ira still says if we should trust in the corpse of Duncan Robinson as our additions after the deadline. No. Now we're writing about Kevin Love coming to the Heat. Yeah, man. I got to get inspired for Kevin Love and Duncan Robinson and Omar Yurtseven. And yeah. It's such a load of shit, bro. It really is. It's just a load of shit. That's the only way I can describe the Heat season this year. A load of shit. That's all it is. Not a very good team. Mediocre, very poorly constructed. So poorly constructed, it's not even funny. You don't see what's happening in front of you. Life is changing. Life changed already. It's a 3-point game, and You keep giving Spo 2-point players. It's I don't know, man. I think Spo is an angel, man. I'm serious. I just think that guy has to put up with a lot of mediocre decisions above him, and it just doesn't put him in a favorable position as a coach. And he has to overcome a whole bunch of crap. And can you imagine now? Some of you are like inspired. Let's bring in Russell Westbrook, and it's Spo just like ordered another case of kaopectate for the next week. You know what I'm saying?
That's going to be on his coach's jacket.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
sponsor.
Yeah. Kaopectate timeout. You know, that's you're going to see it soon on the Heat broadcast. The kaopectate timeout.
When Spo goes in for the press conference, it's no waters or anything. It's just kaopectate.
It's just kaopectate right there, bro. You know, he's talking to you and he's sipping. You know, he's sipping on kaopectate. Speaking of that, by the way, not kaopectate, but I'm taking this stuff that's way worse than anything you've ever had in your life. And so I got this thing that's full of these herbs and all kinds of stuff, and I'm drinking it for my prostate. Okay, this is like maybe a little too much information for all of you out there, but
just so you know, this segment will go up on YouTube as a rant. Okay.
No, but I'm just telling you, I got to get the name for you, and I'll show it to you. First of all, I'll show it to you if it works. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to warn you ahead of time to tell you, don't take this. And I'm taking it every day. You got to take like these one whole vial twice. And it tastes like absolute ass. Okay. Elephant ass. I've never had elephant ass, but I think I'm having it now every night or every morning. Okay. And supposedly it's supposed to clear you up and, apparently, whatever. So that way you don't go to the bathroom 87 times a night, that kind of way. Because I don't want to take any more drugs. I do enough with the heart stuff and the high blood pressure and all that. And so I'm trying this thing because it's all natural. But, dude, it's made of all these types of herbs and crap that it's all natural. But, oh, my God, it tastes terrible. Wow, it tastes terrible. I'm just hoping it works. So we'll see. I'll give it a month or two, and then I'll give you the update. I'll show you the bottle just in case if you ever see the commercial, don't order it. Or if you see the commercial, order it, actually. I should call it. If it works, I'm going to call them and tell them, hey, you guys should be a sponsor on the show because this shit works. So far, not yet. It's only been a few days that I've been using it, so I can't really, judge it, and it's not fair to them, not fair to me, but oh my God. Oh, I am suffering every morning. I do not look forward to doing that stuff every morning. Oh my God. Terrible. Slow news day. We are talking about Big O's prostate. Yeah, it is. It's a slow news day. Can you say, Big O, the front office has set Spo to fail this year? No, not fail. Spo never fails in my book. Let me just put that out there. Spo is by far one of the three best coaches in the NBA, if not the best coach or second best coach or third best coach. I don't care. We're going to argue and split hairs or whatever. Spo is the best thing that is happening in that franchise. Okay. And I love Riley, love the Harrison family. They have been weak for many years now. They have not produced the way they need to produce, and Spo saves their asses every year. So for me, if anybody has failed, it is Pat Riley and the Harrison family and the front office. They have failed. They're the ones that make the stupid decisions of signing Hassan Whiteside and Dion Waiters knowing he needed surgery and drafting Shabazz Napier and Granger and Bob and this stupid ass deal with Lowry and giving Jimmy Butler an extension is ridiculous, and the Duncan Robinson deal, and Just, it's just one mistake after another. And Dwayne Dedman, you got to give away a draft capital just to get rid of his bum ass. It's beyond me what has happened here since the big three. Again, I'll repeat it over and over again. I'm not saying Riley should step down. I'm not saying the game has passed him by. I'm not saying the Harrison family should sell. All I'm saying is they've done a piss poor job over the last 8-9 years. And they keep falling in love with their little projects that they develop, but they're not developing any stars. Okay? The street free agents that they're picking up, they're developing them into solid role players. They're not developing any stars. Okay? You got to go get yourself a star, and you tied your money to Kyle Lowry. And the shelf life of Jimmy Butler is almost over. And you continue to screw it up next to Jimmy Butler. And you've screwed up his entire existence here. And yet you got to the finals once on the whole bubble thing. And then you've got almost to the finals last year. That's because you have Eric Spoelstra, who maximizes the crap that you give him every single year. So to me, it's a matter of Riley in the front office and the Harrison family turning it up and helping their coach, who's absolutely exceptional. Okay? He does what he possibly can with what he's given. He maximizes every young player you give him. He maximizes every team you give him. He makes you look better than what you really are. That's what's been going on here. Eric Spoelstra makes Pat Riley and Mickey Harrison over the last 7, 8, 9 years look better than what they really have produced. Okay? We just got to call it like we see it. That's all. Maybe, whatever. People are afraid to take shots at the Heat or whatever, or Riley. And I get it. There's only one sports station left, and they're tied to the Heat. And they're probably a little nervous. You know what I'm saying? I've never been that guy, whether I was on a flagship station or I'm not. But the clear problem is that the front office and the ownership group are not at the same level as the head coach. They are notches under, and they're not doing their job. They're doing a bad job. And yet Eric Spoelstra covers up all their mistakes and makes them look better than what they really are. That's what's really going on. If we really want to talk about honesty and say what's going on with the Miami Heat. Okay? Riley in the front office and the Harrison family are not getting it done. And they're failing their head coach. That's what they're doing. And if he's dying to move to the front office, I don't blame him at this point. I wouldn't want to work under these conditions where you have a general manager / president who's still stuck in the 90s at times. And he stuck you with Whiteside thinking that the big man, when that's not what we play in today's NBA. And then now he got you back to these old guys because he loves old rosters, and he now has gotten a little soft, and he listens to the players too much. He allowed LeBron to, dictate some stuff, and it ruined it. And then he's allowed Jimmy Butler to dictate and bring in Kyle Lowry and ruin himself, by the way. Jimmy Butler screwed himself in the process. But that's what you get for listening to players. And Riley was never the guy listening to players. So there's a lot of things that I don't like that's going on with the Heat lately. And yet you're still getting results. But that's where that's where the smoke and mirrors happen. And then you think it's better than what it really is when it's not. And that's because of Spo, not because of Riley and Harrison, because of Spo. Spo is your saving grace right now. Riley and Harrison are the detriment to Spo right now. They're not doing what's best for Spo. They're making it harder for Eric Spoelstra by keeping Oladipo around, another terrible contract. A guy that can never stay healthy, and yet you continue to hang in there with the guy, and you gave him a 2-year contract, and look how many games he continues to miss. And you're stuck with him for another season. Another absolutely terrible decision by the Miami Heat and Pat Riley. Listen, bro, if we're going to give you credit for all the great stuff that goes on, which we do, then sit back and be a big boy and take the punishment. That's the beauty of the Heat, by the way. The Heat aren't going to get pissed off about this kind of stuff that I'm saying. They might be a little frustrated that I'm saying it because I'm speaking the truth, but they know it's the truth. And Riley knows it's the truth. Riley knows he has screwed up several times over. He's got to know that the Duncan Robinson thing has turned out to be a disaster. You gave a guy a contract, and then you've killed his complete value because he can't play anymore. The Dwayne Dedmon, it became a serviceable contract, and then now you extended it, and he got old on your ass, and then he's throwing massagers out onto the court, and you got to now get rid of a draft pick just to get rid of him. And you're going to need a draft pick to get rid of Duncan. And, it just goes on and on and on and on and on, and it doesn't end. And so one bad decision after another. And meanwhile, you got the chef in the kitchen in Spo making it look a lot better than what it really is. That's kind of what it is. And unfortunately, that's the brutal reality that they're living in right now. A 2-point team in a 3-point world. Just not a good situation. But I give Spo all the credit in the world. Only problem for Spo is, unlike Larinaga, who's got more control over what's coming in and out of that roster, so he can coach it up and get the results, Spo may not have the same kind of control, and he's got to live with what they give him. And the chef does wonders. He's it's like A View to a Kill. For you youngins, you may have not seen that Bond, but there's a scene where Roger Moore is hanging out with, what's her name from that 70s show? She just passed away. The mother of the redhead. Anyway, so she's the Bond girl, and she's in her pad, and he's there, and they got nothing in the fridge. And they got like a lemon and, a Coke, and he, cooks a souffle. That's Spo. That's Spo. Spo, like, they give him like crappy ingredients, and he comes out with, Tanya Roberts. That's it. That's her. Tanya Roberts. Yeah. So it really is amazing what that man has done with that roster, or with all the rosters that he's had. That's how special that dude is. Let's see. Karen says, as much as it sucks, Big O, I think you made the right choice trying to take a natural approach if it works. Some of the side effects of these medications are, exactly. That's why, Big O, Travis Wingfield has an exclusive with Fangio. Interesting watch. Well, I always check out Travis. Travis does an excellent job there for the MiamiDolphins.com. And he is he's a really good dude, works his ass off, gives you a different angle than most, and super, super educated and informative. Travis Wingfield is a very well-prepared man and does an excellent job. I always watch his stuff when I get an opportunity. I definitely support Travis in a big-time way. So, so do you believe that they should give Spo more control of the organization in the front office? Yes. 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 And yes, they should. And they should never listen to players ever again. That's what they should do. Tanya Roberts was a smoke show in her day. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. The fact that the Heat are 5 games over 500 is a testament to Spo's coaching. The front office hasn't done him any favors. No, you're right. Spo's a stud, bro. He's a stud. He's my MVP. Every single year, he's my MVP. That guy is one of the best chefs you've ever seen. In fact, what's that dude's name? We have Frank Fiore, Guy Fieri. Guy Fieri. Spo is the Guy Fieri of the NBA. Okay. Well, actually, no, he's not, because Guy Fieri really isn't a chef. Although he does cook and he has sauces and stuff, but he's not really a chef. So let's say he's the Gordon Ramsay. He doesn't get on people. Okay, so then what
I believe that's what Spo might need to do.
He's the Wolfgang Puck of NBA of NBA coaches. Okay, right? Right. He's the Wolfgang Puck of NBA coaches. What? Ira gave me a thumbs up on that. What happened to Ruthie? Ruthie is going to go on to bigger and better things. This is a shitty business, and we all pay the price at one point or another, and it has nothing to do with Ruthie. She's phenomenal. She works super hard. She's super classy. She's a total pro, and somebody will be incredibly lucky to hire her in her next job. I wish her the best. It's just a shitty business, dude. It's just a shitty business. And I know, because I've been a part of it for 30 years. I am super blessed that Sean and I can stand on our own, and we don't need a company, next to us to back us. So I know most of us in this business don't have that luxury like I do. But it's a terrible, terrible business. It just is, man. Mama and daddies, don't let your babies grow up to be media folks, because it's not a good business. All right, let's get to some business. Our Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report with the top chef of the South Florida Sun Sentinel, Ira Winderman.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
Hey, alrighty. How you doing, Ira? You doing good?
Doing good. Looking forward to the break, getting away a little for the weekend. I'll catch you in next week's Acura Pembroke Pines report on Tuesday. Going to really sort of relish the chance the games have stopped, can take a breather here. But what a tough spot. I mean, one loss in Brooklyn, and all of a sudden you're the number 7 seed. You're in a play-in position. It's, you know what? It's a very sobering break. But if it gets the Heat to wake up and take notice, maybe not the worst thing ever. They are in a tough, dire situation. Now we're really going to read who they are.
How do you wake up when you can't do what's necessary? You're watching that game against the Nets. You're getting infuriated. And I'm just watching it, and I'm going, this is a team that's too deficient offensively. The math does not work. You know what I mean? And I'm watching a Nets team that is depleted. They lost their 2 superstars. And yet they are running down that court, spreading the ball, and making sure they get themselves an open 3. And they're making them. And then you watch the Miami Heat, and they have to battle and claw for 2 points every single time. And it just doesn't work.
Wasn't the Miami Heat. That was the shorthanded Heat. Without Tyler Hero is their instant offense. Big O, I'll tell you right now, without Tyler Hero, if he's not available, the Heat go nowhere. Tyler Hero is...
Wait a minute. You make it sound like he's money every night, which that's not true.
No, I make it sound as if you have to have your key elements. The Nets might have been depleted by the trades with Kyrie and Durant. In that game, they listed not a single player in the injury report. They had a full mix to work with.
You have Bam and Butler, bro.
And that's 2. That's 2 in a 3-team league. We know this. We know when the Heat were battling with those 2, they always needed a third element. They thought it was
but not against the Nets with no stars. You should still win that game, but you don't have enough around those guys.
I think without Tyler Hero.
And then you were talking about, we'll get Duncan Robinson. 2 of 7 air balls. Come on, give me a break. Duncan Robinson cannot be counted on anymore. That was a stretch that he was in. He's completely been out of that for a long time now. And without consistent playing time, there's no way he ever gets back on track again. And he's so deficient in other areas that it also is a liability every time he's out there on the court.
A playoff liability. One, you don't go anywhere without Tyler Hero. Two, in the regular season, Duncan Robinson can, and I still think will help this team. The playoffs were a different game. Matter of fact, before I came on, you were talking about you can't trade twos for threes. I 1,000% agree with that during the regular season. But we have yet to see the 3-point teams dominate the playoffs. Mike D'Antoni.
Warriors won last year, man.
Mike D'Antoni. Warriors are a great defensive team. Warriors, everyone looks
at the hell out of the 3 too.
Because that's sexy, but they also have other elements of the game, including Draymond Green getting into the paint. You can't judge the Heat till they're whole. Without Tyler Hero, without Victor Oladipo, without what they wanted Kyle Lowry to be.
So you're counting on an often injured Tyler Hero to stay healthy, an often injured Oladipo to stay healthy. Come on, Ira. That's the other thing we got to, by the way, we have to mention Tyler Hero, injury prone, constantly injured, always has something. Dude can't play most of the games. And this is every season with Tyler Hero. Constantly. He's not reliable. His body doesn't hold up all the time. He breaks down all the time too.
He's been working his body, but the one thing I will say is you have to have your primary players out there to get a read on who you are. I'm the first one to tell you, if you're not going to be healthy, that you're not going to go anyplace. I agree with that. The Miami Heat either have to find other options or get guys healthy to be who they are. But you know what? For all that Bam is, for all that Jimmy Butler is right now, that two-man game is not enough for the Miami Heat.
Of course not.
I 1,000% agree with that. That you're going to need more. You're going to need health. And even in the playoffs last year, that ultimately was what sort of undid the Heat to a degree also when they didn't have all their players available. You have to be healthy. You have to be good to go. You have to be more available. But you know what? Even someone like Tyler Hero, for as much as you think he's missed a lot of games, right now he's missed 15. Yes, that's a lot. But if you can get him available for the second half of the season, that's what's going to matter. The Heat in their best form, I think, are a playoff team. The problem is Big O, and you hit it right on the head. They never get to their best form. That's the problem.
Yeah, no, I don't know what their best form is anymore because they have no proof of anything that's their best form. This group here has no proof. We've never seen anything with Lowry that makes it, that he took it to another level for this team. We haven't seen any of their young guys stay on a consistent streak. Overall, they've only been streaky. They don't necessarily develop consistency. Bam like consistency. Jimmy like consistency when he's on the court. Although, boy, the other night against the Nets, that wasn't necessarily the most inspiring effort by Jimmy.
Regular season Jimmy Butler is a different animal, and that's unfortunate. And I do agree with you on this, Big O. They have to get Jimmy to give whatever word you want to use a little bit more about the remaining regular season games, because he can say all he wants. He's going to turn it on. Keep this in mind, Big O.
I heard that in your interview with him, and I'm like, he's like putting it off, like, because you were telling him, you were asking about, are you concerned about, where you're in a play-in position, all that going down the stretch, and he's very casual, like, oh yeah, no, we'll turn it on, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, who are you? How can you turn it on when you're not special at any level?
And here's the deal, Big O. Big O, here's the deal. If they do get in the play-in, okay, maybe they advance to the play-in. Probably do. You're playing the number 1 or number 2 seed. I say that you and I can both go on the record here. They're not beating Boston in a series. Nope. They're not beating Milwaukee in a series. And I'm not sure, Big O, if they're competing with those teams in a series. But if you get to 6 or 5 and you're playing the Sixers, the Cavaliers, or the Nets, you're giving yourself a chance to salvage this season. So number 7, you're going to hear it again. Oh, all we have to do is win 1 of 2 home games or in the playoffs. But it's about more than that, Big O. It's about giving yourself a competitive chance. That game in Brooklyn was a blown and lost opportunity. I wholeheartedly agree about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just all right. So I guess now what we have to look forward to is the buyout, because I'm sorry, Kevin Love does nothing for me. The Russell Westbrook one, which it looks like he's already talking with the Clippers, but that one really did nothing to me because, again, I feel terrible for Spo. I just think I think he's a chef, I think he makes everything look better than what it really is. I think this front office and ownership group has made so many mistakes since the big three, and he makes it look every situation, he makes it look better than what it really is. I think Spo is a gift, dude. But you keep screwing him over, and it's like, oh, Russell Westbrook, what, we're going to add another 2-point shooter to this team? That doesn't make any sense.
Low percentage 2-point shooter, right?
Yeah, exactly. At least Love, okay, he can shoot the three, and he can help you with some rebounding. I get it. Doesn't necessarily get me excited. He's also injury prone, by the way.
And again, I think that number 7 seed kills them, because if you're a player looking to go somewhere in the buyout market, you're looking to make a deep playoff run.
That's right.
You look at the Heat, you're saying, hey, the regular season ends April 9th. By April 14th, they can be done. So what are you doing? You're signing somewhere to give yourself 1 or 2 more games? No. If a Kevin Love can go to the Suns, he's going to have a deep playoff run. Whether he plays or not, another story. If a Russell Westbrook goes to the Clippers, he has a chance for a deep playoff run. That's why Terrence Ross decided he was going to sign. He was going to go to the Suns. That's why you have a situation where the Milwaukee Bucks were able to pick up a point guard in Reggie Jackson. The Denver Nuggets are going to have a deep playoff run. Even Dallas picking up a player, and Justin Holiday on the buyout market. Again, you look at Dallas, they can go somewhere. You look at the Heat right now, and you're saying to yourself, hey, a loss to the Hawks and a loss to the Raptors, certainly possible, and they're done by April 14th. They're in a tough spot. Their top players who were projected have to play more to their pedigree. And, of course, we got the whole Kyle Lowry situation.
Let me ask you something. When does Spo get way more control of what goes on with
He has a lot of control right now, Big O. It's in his contract. He has contractual control. I will say this.
He has contractual control of the roster.
Yes, he has control.
I'm talking about personnel.
In his contract, he has personnel say in his contract. But the biggest say is what Andy Ellisberg says works under the cap and the tax, and how the Arisons want to spend. Let's not kid ourselves. When you give Kyle Lowry a 3-year, $85 million contract, Nick and Mickey Arison have to sign off. Same thing with Duncan at $5 and $90. They have to sign off. The ultimate control in a salary cap luxury tax world rests with the money makers, the money decision people. They signed off on those. And what's happened is, in a salary cap world, once you get bitten, once you make the bad deal once, that carries over. Like you mentioned before the show started today, our segment on the Accurate Pembroke Pines report. Now you've got to find a way to shed that money to get new money. And now, when a Max Strus becomes a free agent, you say to yourself, do we want to do what we already did with Duncan, or do we have to be more careful, even though it's apples and oranges? Same thing with Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent's your starting point guard now and possibly for the balance of the season.
Oh, yeah.
But when he becomes a free agent, do you say to yourself, hey, we still got another year of Kyle Lowry on the books for $30 million. We can't be affording to pay another point guard $10+ million and load in all that money in a salary cap at $40 million to 2 guys. That's the problem. You wind up chasing your mistakes and getting hurt by them. Salary cap world's a lot different. This is Major League Baseball where the Yankees or the Mets say, okay, we lost DeGrom. We'll just go sign another 42-year-old pitcher. We'll get Verlander. It's not that easy in the NBA. Everything has to work together. So, yes, Eric Spoelstra has personnel say, but there's a lot of interlocking components.
And I almost feel like his personal say is he's still deferring to the front office and to the ownership group.
And like you mentioned before, and to players. Eric Spoelstra needs a happy Jimmy Butler. If a happy Jimmy Butler wants Kyle Lowry, it's even tough for a Spo to say no and have to deal with Jimmy Butler. He's seen what other teams have done and have dealt with an unhappy Jimmy Butler. This is a weird sport. It's only 5 men play at a time. If a player is one of your top 5 wants someone, you get someone. Look at Kevin Durant. He wanted to play with Kyrie Irving. That didn't work out so well. Look at Durant and Irving.
Jimmy Butler still happy with Kyle Lowry on the team for real? Is he really happy with that decision?
Oh, no. Right now, from a basketball standpoint, he still loves Kyle as the godfather of his daughter, as a friend. But there's a business size to this whole thing, and that's where it differs for Jimmy. That's the problem. The push-pull of getting players who they want. They did it for LeBron all the time. Worked out fine. Mike Miller, perfect condition. Birdman, Ray Allen, that worked out when you had great, great players. In this case, not so much. So what you were saying in the crosstalk before of Acura Pembroke Pines report, I think is correct. You've got to listen a little less to your players, but it's hard because you're in the locker room with your players for 82 games and for a bunch of practices and shoot-arounds. And if they're not happy, this whole thing can go to crap in a hurry.
Yeah, I know, but at least, well, the good thing is that the Heat do have ammo now with Jimmy and say, hey, bro, we did what you wanted and it was a freaking disaster.
Yes.
Relax. We're going to do what we want.
Just like
and
the
what we think
Lakers did with LeBron when they said you wanted Russell Westbrook and we wound up losing Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell. That didn't work out either. That does humble a player. Now, whether Jimmy can be humbled because of who he is, we'll see that as well.
All right. What do you got going on this weekend on the Sun Sentinel so folks can check it out?
Couple of things. I posted today my Ask Iron. I think it's important that the Heat at number 7 are not in a great place to chase buyout guys because they could be done before the play-in round. Right now, I'm not so sure a lot of people around the league are looking at Miami and saying, hey, that's where I can reestablish my value. So I think that's an ongoing concern. And then I wrote a story I just posted at sunsentinel.com about there are so many moving parts for the Miami Heat in this All-Star break they have to figure out. Is Kyle Lowry going to come back? Is he going to come back as a player? Is Victor Oladipo reliable, or is this ankle injury just the latest in a series of injury? What happens when Big Yurt gets back on the court? Can he play alongside Bam Adebayo? Is he purely the backup center? And because of that, do they let Orlando Robinson go? Do they let Jamari Bouye go because of the buyout market? So there's sort of 6 or 7 guys in place right now that the Heat have to make determinations before they resume practice next Thursday to sort of know what direction they're going. That's the thing, Big O. You hit right on the head. A quality playoff team on February 17th does not have this amount of questions. The Heat have way too many questions for a team getting ready for their final 23 games. So I examined those options as well.
All right, there you go. And follow them on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. Have a fantastic weekend, my friend. Enjoy the basketball.
And we'll catch you on Tuesday with our next Acura Pembroke Pines report. Thanks, Big O. Happy weekend to everyone out there.
You got it, baby. There you go. Ira Winderman getting it done for us like he always does all week long with our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All right. And see, now this is what happens in this world, right? People don't pay attention. And then they go off and running in another direction, and then they talk a bunch of crap. Greater good. There you go. Blasphemy from the Big O. I trust Riley still. This is the crap that was spoken about Shula. Wrong, because I lived it all. We were saying the game passed Shula by. He needs to retire. Did I say that at any point? Did I say the game passed Riley by? Did I say he needs to retire? No. That's all. But greater good, that's why you can't do my job, because you don't have the balls to actually say Riley's doing a mediocre job. I'm not saying to fire him. Never said it. Never said to replace him. I'm just saying you got to do a better job. He's done a shitty job lately. By his standards, a shitty job. Sure, by Orlando Magic standards, he's been absolutely phenomenal because they have no success. But there's a different standard here. And so Riley has not done a good job. The Harrison family has not done a good job. That's all. Pretty simple. If you can't admit to yourself what's going on, then, you go ahead and lie to yourself if you want. Go ahead. The Heat is asking their season ticket holders for a 30% increase on ticket prices for next year. So, these are things that if you're a season ticket holder, you're not getting your money's worth. People aren't playing half the games. You don't know who's playing when you get to the arena. You're spending a lot of money to go see the game, and it's a poorly constructed team. I'm sorry. I love Riley. I don't want Riley to go anywhere, but I want to tell Riley, yo, brother, you've slipped here. You're not making good decisions. You need to get back on track. You can't listen to players anymore. You need to go back to being hard-ass Pat Riley. And that's all I'm saying. Don't want Mickey. I don't want the Harrison family to sell the team. I want them to spend more. I want them to be more aggressive. And I certainly want that front office to make way better decisions and stop falling in love with your role players. Go get real stars and don't get broken down old stars like Kyle Lowry because you can't sign anybody else. So you settled for Kyle Lowry. If you can't get Durant, don't go Kyle Lowry. Then don't do it. Stay liquid. Get a couple of older veterans for 1 year to put you off until you can keep the money liquid. And then the next year, you get back into it and you try to bring a real superstar here next to Jimmy, not Kyle Lowry. You just ruined 3 years of Butler's run because you signed Kyle Lowry to a deadbeat 3-year contract. Again, I'm not saying that anybody should leave the team or anything like that. All I'm saying is I am not satisfied with what the Harrison family's done as of late, and I'm certainly not satisfied with the front office from the Miami Heat over the last 8-9 years. I think they've done a very mediocre job, and Spo has saved their asses over and over and over and over again. That's all. So some of you, maybe like Greater Good, can't understand English. But the difference was everybody was saying, including myself, the game passed Shula by, he's got to step down. And I said I would never do that with Riley. And I'm not doing that with Riley. But I will say to Riley, yeah, not a good job lately. No, not up to your standard. Not a good job. That's all. So some of you will understand English. People like Greater Good may not understand English. You can still recognize the front office for the amazing work they've done before and still be honest about how they've been the past 7 years. Exactly. That's all. That's why I don't want them to go anywhere. They've been phenomenal. Get back to being phenomenal. Lately, you've been pretty mediocre. You see? Cutter's Edge Pro, nothing mediocre there. See, that's exceptional. Mike, William, Will, of course, Will, the head of the company. That's what excellence is, what it's all about. So when they're done with your business, your HOA, your condominium complex, your home, whatever it is, you're going to have excellence. And your home, your business is going to be valued a lot more. If the Miami Heat maintain Cutter's Edge Pro's excellence, then they probably would have a couple of more titles over the last couple of years. That's what you get with Cutter's Edge Pro in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties, folks. 954-472-0622. Save it on that cell phone, 954-472-0622. And let me tell you something. In fact, last night we were out with the dogs out there because it was a nice, cool night. And I got Bono and I got Ollie, and they're just rolling around on the artificial turf, having some fun, playing with them. And that's the beauty of the artificial turf, man. They're not picking up any dirt. They're not putting it on their bodies or anything like that. And then they walk into the house. They're not picking up through their paws or anything like that. It's beautiful. They get to do their business. They go in. It's easy to maintain. You're going to save hundreds and thousands of dollars in the long run because you're no longer watering the lawn all the time. You're not cutting the grass every, 10 days in South Florida, 10 days, 2 weeks. You got to think about that. So that means you're cutting your grass like 26 times a year if you do it every 2 weeks. That's a lot of money that you're saving because you're no longer cutting the grass. And then whether it's you or the dogs or you're walking outside, and by the way, you're going to notice that once you take your landscaping to another level, you're going to find yourself hanging out in that backyard that you pay the mortgage for every month. Now, if you look at that backyard and it's dead and it's got no life and you do nothing to it, take it to another level like we have. We've got trees everywhere, so we got shade. It's nice and cool. The artificial turf is great for the dogs. And by the way, they add this little sand to keep the temperatures down and keep it cool. I mean, it is really easy. It drains very quickly. They do a great job. Call Cutter's Edge Pro, tree trimming, landscape design, outdoor lighting. They do it all. We got the lights that change all the time. So we could do it for Breast Cancer Awareness Month or a Dolphins game or Heat colors or Panther colors or you name it. I can just switch it around, man. Go check it out. Cutter's Edge Pro. Go to the Instagram page. Check it out there, Cutter's Edge Pro. Absolutely amazing, man. Check it out, cuttersedgepro.com, and tell them that Big O sent you. Call Will or Mike, 954-472-0622 in Dade, Broward, or Palm Beach counties. There you go. Troy says, been watching the NBA since the mid-'80s. Remember the players playing nearly all the games back then. What's going on with, I don't know, load management crap that they talk about? To me, it's a whole bunch of bull. Okay. You want to miss 3, 4, 5, 6 games a year. I get it. Little nicks here, get a little rest there, whatever. But this thing about missing, a quarter of the games or more, I'm sorry. That's, you have months to rest. You have an off season. So that's when you rest. You have your All-Star break. That's when you rest. That's it. You got plenty of time to get rest. The coal miner doesn't get a rest. Might get a week vacation. The postman doesn't get a rest, or the postwoman doesn't get a rest, right? The garbage man doesn't get a rest. Everybody else gets like a week, maybe 2 if you're lucky. Most people got to work all year long. They work 50 out of the 52 weeks or 51 out of the 52 weeks. And they're not resting. And they're putting their bodies through hell every single day. And their minds through hell. And guess what? Their careers are a hell of a lot longer than NBA players. I have zero sympathy for athletes. Zero. You have the best travel, you have the best hotels, you have the best medicine, you have the best treatment out there. You got everything and anything you can possibly need to get through a season as comfortable as possible, and you have months off. Now you want to get paid the full salary and you want to miss a quarter to a third of the games? No, dude. No. I have zero sympathy for you. The car salesman's got to grind. He or she every single day for 50, 51 weeks out of the 52. Okay? Plenty of you. You got to grind every single day. The cashier that is standing 8 hours a day, she's working 51, 50 weeks out of the year. Not fun for her back, not fun for her legs, not fun for her body or him. But they're doing it every day. I have zero sympathy or understanding for athletes. Wear and tear. Get the hell out of here, dude. You got a short career. You're going to make a boatload of money. Get out of my face. Get out of my face. Okay? I feel worse for teachers. Okay? I feel worse for policemen. Not only they are putting their lives on the line every single day for shit money. I have no sympathy whatsoever for any athlete that is crying like, "Oh, I'm tired." Get the hell out of here, dude. Get lost. There's a mother that's also an accountant. A mother that's a firewoman, because I guess you can't call them firemen, whatever, you know what I'm saying? We got people with dual careers, because if you're a mother, that's a career in itself. And then you're also a teacher. You're also a dentist. That's impressive. Yeah. I'm gonna have sympathy for athletes. Meanwhile, millions of women balance motherhood, wife, and a career. Get the hell out of here. I'm gonna have any sympathy for some stinking basketball player or a football player that has to play a certain amount of games a year and has months after to recover. Get out of my face. Devin Jordan, thank you for the love on the super chat. Big O, what's your favorite Michael Jordan memory? Has to be what? Okay. Has to be the GOAT. My favorite Michael Jordan memory might be the fake baseline on Patrick Ewing, and then he dunks. That might be it right there. That might be the one. I could go with that one. Obviously, the flu game with all the 3-point shots, that was big too. But I love that little juke move that he does on Ewing, and then he drives on him and slams on him. Do you know about Shula shooting down Emmitt Smith? I don't know. Whatever. I don't know what's true or not or whatever. Does it really matter, dude? This is like 40-something years ago. The man is dead. You know, I don't know, bro. Not 40, but 30-something years ago. I don't know. Have no idea how true that is and what it is or whatever. Don't know. You know, at this point, does it really matter? What's it going to change your life? You know, let it go, dude. That was a long time ago, and you don't even know if it's right or wrong or whatever. Shula did his job. He won, and he brought us championships, and nobody else has done that. So, all right, let's get ready for hour number 2. Manny Navarro ready to go? All right. Our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report will start hour number 2 of the Big O radio show next.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro. Exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
There he is, the man, the myth, the legend that is Manny Navarro. How you feeling, baby? You feeling all right? Feeling good?
Feeling great. Thank you. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. Does it look like they got their man, their offensive coordinator?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're happy with the choice. You know, Shannon Dawson is a guy who has been around, several decades now in terms of coaching college football. Been in the air raid system. Worked with Hal Mummy, who of course devised the air raid, and worked with Dana Holgerson for many years. And has done a good job taking quarterbacks and making them better. I mean, if you look at what he did last season in Houston, his quarterback threw 40 touchdown passes. I know it was sort of a disappointing season in terms of their expectations. They thought they would be better than 8-5. But, I think a lot of those issues might have been on defense, not necessarily offense. They averaged 36 points a game. And, look, Miami got a guy who's hungry. He's a relatively young coach at age 45. I mean, I'm 44, so I can't say I'm young anymore. Oh, he's a year older than me. But for
coaching, he's pretty young, actually.
Right. He's probably right, a good age, right, to be a college offensive coordinator.
The ripe age.
The ripe age. Yeah, exactly. So I think they're definitely happy with that, and now it's just a matter of scoring away receivers coach and running backs coach. So we'll see when Mario gets to that. But I think as far as their plan and what they want to be next season, using more of an air raid, spread offense type attack, I think, with Tyler Van Dyke as your best player, your offensive line, your likely strength, in all honesty. I mean, you have questions at receiver and running back and other places, but if Tyler Van Dyke is straight and he's got a good offensive line, then this might be a good system for what Miami wants to do.
I'm surprised I didn't hear about cops raiding the UM campus over the last week, because Tyler Van Dyke was probably having a party after they signed that guy, because he's like, there's like spread. It's coming back. This is what I want. This is what I need. And so, you know what I'm saying? I he's got to be happy. And then at the same time, I got to give Mario a little credit here. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but he also understands the transition that his team is in and the quarterback that he has. And he got somebody at least that has an offense that has a lot of similarities to what he excelled in too at the same time. So, and I think to Mario's credit too, you're not just going to this power running offense, and it's like watching, the Heat. Hey, why don't we add another 2-point shooter? That makes a lot of sense. Let's just add another 2-point shooter and another 2-point shooter. You can't go with 3 yards in a cloud of dust offense, Mario Cristobal. You've got to open it up. You got to score points. You got to get chunk plays. So you're getting a guy that is going to assist your current quarterback, but at the same time, evolve your offense to be more of what today's offense is, instead of the Miami Heat saying, no, we can still work with 90s offense here.
Right. You have to modernize and get with the times. And I think, a lot of it has to be recruiting too, right? I mean, they didn't get the 2 elite receivers in their backyard last cycle. There were actually probably more than that. I'd say probably 3 or 4. And they didn't get the 4 highest ranked receivers. And so I think if you're going to attract receivers, you need to have an offense that's receiver friendly, because that's how you win in college football today. It's not 3 yards in a cloud of dust. You still got to be able to run the football. I mean, Georgia proved that the last couple of years. They've had some great offensive lines, some really good running backs, and when they needed to beat teams, they could run the football. But I think in the grand scheme of things, Miami has so much more to go, obviously, than Georgia to be Georgia, right, to get to that level. And so you start by bringing in a friendly, receiver-friendly, passer-friendly offense, because you got to get some of those guys in the door.
I'm with you there. All right, so what's next? Because they did lose, 4 other coaches, assistant coaches?
Yeah, well, they ended up hiring Derek Nicholson to be the linebackers coach to replace Charlie Strong. He was at Louisville, and then he followed Scott Satterfield to Cincinnati. He was there for all of 3 weeks before being hired the same day as Miami's new offensive coordinator to come in and be the linebackers coach. So Derek is a familiar name in the Miami-Florida State series. He played for Florida State. Was a really good linebacker for them for a few years, and then obviously got into coaching pretty quickly. And he's a pretty good recruiter. He ended up convincing a linebacker Miami really wanted in their class, Danquan Clark, to go to Louisville instead of Miami. And so he's the kind of guy that I think is, again, another young, hungry coach, right? Who is looking to make a name for himself. And I think it's a difference, right, in hiring. You don't have the Charlie Strongs, the 62-year-old guys who've already done it and proven it, and are used to cooking with the best grease available. These other coaches are used to coaching guys that aren't as talented and coaching them up and making them better. And I think that's kind of what Miami needs right now in its rebuild phase. As far as receiver and running backs coach, I mean, there's been a bunch of rumors and names out there that I've heard. A few of them involve former Hurricanes. Potentially coming to be receivers coach. I don't know where Mario is in that decision-making process. I would assume, and I've been told that the offensive coordinator, Shannon Dawson, will have a say in that hire. But as far as running backs coach, I think that'll probably be Mario's decision. One interesting name I heard was Tim Harris Jr. He's a guy who his father and him, the whole family, the Harris family, has been very integral to the city of Miami. He's been with UCF the last few years as maybe a potential guy who comes in here as running backs coach, maybe running game coordinator, that type of thing.
Okay. I know you wrote an article about the 10 most important prospects for 2024 around the state of Florida. How many of those prospects are UM involved in?
Well, I mean, I would think most of them, Miami has shown interest in. The one at the top of the list, Jermaine Smith, is obviously the biggest one because he is the number 2 player in the cycle for 2024. He's 6'3", 185 pounds. He reminds me a lot of Andre Johnson in terms of just his body type, his physicality, his demeanor. He's Geno Smith's cousin.
That's high praise, bro. That's high praise. That's high praise. Well, comparing him to Andre Johnson. That's a freak.
He is of that same athletic potential and ability. Like, he has that in him, and he's been very good for very, very long. I'll put it this way. I mean, he plays with the South Florida Express 7-on-7 team. That team had Brandon Innes, Hakeem Williams, guys that went to Ohio State, Florida State, 5-star receivers, and I think he's better than all those guys. He showed that last year as a junior. So I think he warrants that kind of praise. And there's a bunch of other guys on that list. Josiah Schrader, who also plays with him at Chaminade, is more of a two-way guy. I think personally, and I've told.
But you have him committed already but you have him committed already to Ohio State, the Smith kid.
He is committed. He's been committed to Ohio State, but there's no question Miami it's going to be a factor. You could be committed 10, 12 months before the decisions have to be finalized. I think Miami.
You broke up there.
It's his teammate.
You broke up there.
Can you hear me all right?
Go. Now we can. Go ahead.
You got me. I was going to say JoJo Trader's the other player that I was going to mention, and another elite sort of receiver and two-way player. He goes to Hollywood Chaminade as well. Those are the top 2 local kids that Miami absolutely has to get. JoJo's a guy that I personally think would be better off playing defense because he's such a ball hawk. Just such a knack for reading the quarterback and breaking on balls, kind of like Cam Kitchens. But he wants to play receiver at the next level. We'll see if maybe Mario lets him do both. But both of those kids, those are must-gets for Miami.
So when are we getting Brian Hartline? Why not name him the offensive coordinator? What the hell is going on with Mario? Let's go, bro.
Well,
You want a badass
Brian
recruiter? Brian Hartline's a pain in our ass right now. Come on.
Well, I would venture to say so is Ohio State, right? I mean, Ohio State pretty much when you win the conference every single year.
We get rid of Brian Hartline from them and add him here. That weakens Ohio State. Because JoJo also is considering Ohio State in your article. So, I'm watching that. I'm going, damn, dude. Come on, Hartline, bro. What is wrong with you? This is not good, bro. I don't know. Can we kidnap his ass or something?
That'd be the ideal trick to end his reign. There's no question. That would be the way to do it. But look, man, if you're a receiver and Ohio State's putting out all these first rounders every single year, right? Garrett Wilson, we just saw got drafted. The kid with the Saints also went to Ohio State. I mean, all these elite receivers just keep going to the NFL. That's the place to go. That's Brian Hartline's kicking everybody's ass. So give him his kudos. Former Dolphin going on to do great things as an assistant coach in college, and I'm sure at some point he'll get his own program to run.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. It's interesting, man, how he has made an instant impact as a coach, and he's become Mario Cristobal as a recruiter.
Did you see him as that when he was with the Dolphins? Did he talk about wanting to get into coaching?
No, I did. Well, I mean, you could tell that you could tell he's a gym rat, right? When he was there. Now, did I know that he was going to become this kind of recruiter? No, not at all. But you could tell that he did have like that quality that like Zach has it too, but he doesn't want to be a coach. So it's different with guys like Zach or even Dan Marino. Like Marino has a love for it, but he ain't going to be no coach. There's no way, and I don't think Zach would ever spend his time coaching either. It would drive him crazy to have to coach people because I think he's one of those kind of athletes. But Brian, you can tell that he was kind of a gym rat and a guy that wanted to be around the game. So you can see him being a coach, but I didn't get to see him enough here to learn about him, like to that point, like, oh yeah, this guy's going to be a coach down the line. But wow, dude, he has turned into just an absolute monster at the college football level. He won't be there long. Somebody's going to give him that, that promotion that he's looking for, and he deserves, by the way.
Well, there's a few ACC schools that I'm sure will be making coaching changes here in the years to come. Boston College had a terrible year. I think he'd be a great fit at a place like Boston College. They hired a former Ohio State assistant the last time, and so I think he'll get his opportunity probably some point here around 2024, 2025.
I think if you want that opportunity, if you're Brian Hartline, after you've been at Ohio State, you also have to go, okay, I need to go somewhere where they also are going to give me the resources. And I'm not sure that Boston College would be the place that gives you the resources that you need in order to be successful, because that's kind of part of the marriage. Yeah, it's nice to be a great recruiter, but you've also got to have the program that's also going to provide what you need. So when you do recruit the guys, you have all those elements that you need to kind of seal the deal. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know going to Boston College if that's going to be,
Well, I mean, listen, if he's smart, he'd probably stay in the Big Ten. I mean, that's where all the money is.
Exactly.
They're in the SEC. So
That's
it just depends. Is it a school like Indiana? Would he go to a place like Indiana? They've kind of fallen off after being a bowl team for a couple years. They've kind of struggling now. There might be a coaching change in the future there. So to me, it'll probably be that kind of a program somewhere in the Midwest, somewhere in the Northeast, that would give him that opportunity to make the jump from. I mean, he was just promoted to offensive coordinator, so I think he probably needs to put in a year or two at least there before he makes the jump.
Sure. Yeah, I'm with you there. All right, what are you working on over the weekend at the Athletics so folks can check you out, my friend?
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously it's the offseason, a lot of recruiting stuff. I caught up with a quarterback target that Miami is pursuing, Aaron Noland. Great name, by the way. Can you imagine? My starting quarterback for the Hurricanes, Aaron Noland. Left-handed quarterback out of Georgia. He's going to be a senior this coming season. Threw, I think, for 54 touchdowns and like only 4 interceptions. Left-handed. Wears the number 1, just like Tua. Very accurate. I watched him play. Not a super strong arm, but great anticipation skills. And I know he's among a list of quarterbacks that Miami's interested in. So there'll be something on him there. Just the usual. Oh, I mean, I'm always working on. I feel like I got my hands in like 6 different projects all the time, and it's just a matter of which one does the editor want first. Which one is the most timely. So I think from that perspective, and I'm sure I'll probably do something on Miami's new coordinator, offensive coordinator. We just wrote a story earlier this week. Bruce Feldman and I on Lance Guidry, the defensive coordinator. That's on the website to read. So I'm sure there'll be a version of similar to Shannon Dawson.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how he, molds his offense and caters to. I know what Mario's, foundation is, but then at the same time, what you also need to do in today's, college football to open things up a little bit more. I'm really intrigued to see how he does it because I was so disappointed with Gaddis and the way he mishandled, the Canes offense, I thought, this year. All right, follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. More importantly, do what I do, man. Subscribe to The Athletic and support Manny and all the fantastic writers who give us all kinds of great insight every single day. Manny, as always, have a fantastic weekend, my friend. Appreciate you.
All right, brother. You too. Take care.
Thank you. Don't forget, go to caneswear.com. You order over $99 anywhere in the country, free shipping. They got anything and everything with the Canes logo. They've got Dolphin gear, Miami Heat gear, Miami Marlins gear, Inter Miami gear, Florida Panthers. Got all kinds of stuff. I mean, Brett is always working, bringing in stuff, and that's why they're always growing, and that's why they're moving to another location right there in the same mall, but it'll be to a bigger spot. They just get bigger and bigger and bigger, which is just absolutely beautiful, and very proud of Brett and what he's been able to build out there. It's just a culture. It's service. They look out for you, the customer. They just do an awesome, awesome job when you're there at the store or if you're ordering online. Check it out. Over $99. It'll be free shipping. Caneswear.com.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CS, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
All right. Appreciate it as always. Yes, sir.
No, sorry, I had to close. I wasn't trying to get your clear my throat, but I wanted to ask you a question because
yes,
I'm sure you probably didn't see this, but maybe you did. Did you see Tiger Woods opening round at the Genesis?
Oh no, I did not.
Yep. He something caught. I guess a cameraman caught. He outdrove Justin Thomas on one of the holes.
Right.
And he walks by Justin Thomas and hands him something.
Right.
And your girl, what's your golf girl?
Paige Sporanic.
Paige Sporanic actually got onto it, and he gave him tampons. He slid tampons to him after he outdrove him, and had a good laugh with Justin Thomas on the thing because the old man outdrove him. I'm not sure what the inside. I don't know. Nice there, but they zoomed in, and you could see it was. And then she responded on it. Now she's come out and talked.
So
what's
the gist behind the tampon joke?
I don't know.
You hit like a woman or something? Is
that was kind of I guess would be the only thing I could think of. Paige didn't expand on it. She just said, I see what you like, kind of like, on there, but it was a good laugh for Tiger and Justin. So,
okay.
There's definitely some,
And if you want
inside stuff there.
you could bring Paige on to explain anything.
I'll see if I can reach out to her. Check it out.
Yeah, I mean, she's more than welcome to come on the show and help us out, man. So I'm looking forward to that. If you want to bring on Paige, I got no problem with that, man. We are in the KSDT CPA offices, and here in Dadeland, by the way, we got 3 offices. We got one in Weston, and we got another one in West Palm Beach, and we got one coming in North Carolina for you fans out there. So we will tell you when we're in North Carolina soon. And of course, you see, we've got a bring up the logo there. If you need to do your taxes, folks, it's really simple. All you got to do is now focus in right there, and you can hit it, and you can call today, find out. We're doing our business and our personal taxes here with KSDT. You can do it too, man. Dade, Broward, and Palm Beaches. So reach out. There's the phone number, 305-670-3370. That's 305-670-3370. And is Jeffrey's ready? Is Jeffrey out there? Jeffrey Tarabolis, by the way, of course, managing partner of KSDT CPA. And, he's a little bit of a racing nut. Just a little bit. He's just a little bit of a fan. And he is there in Daytona right now. How you doing, my man? You doing all right?
Good. How you doing?
I can't complain, man. Are you at the pits now? Where are you at right now?
I am actually in the hauler. We have these big trucks, that haul the vehicles and stuff, and where all the equipment is stored. And so I'm in the front part of the cabin of the hauler where the drivers kind of hang out before the race and stuff like that.
So you're in the AC is what you're saying?
Yeah.
AC.
It's a little loud out there, so I figured I'd do the majority of this from in here, and then I'll take you guys out for a little tour and show you outside because it's a little loud outside.
Yeah, I would imagine. Probably hot and loud also, because I'm sure they've got the cars. And is the testing going on now? Is there any testing going on right now?
So right now, what we're doing is we're working on the cars and we're going through inspection. All the cars are going through inspection.
Okay.
Inspection all day, and then later on in the afternoon, they'll be get on the track for practice.
Get a feel for the track. What is there anything different about the track this year from last year?
Nope. Daytona is the same old Daytona. It's a drafting style race. All the cars get together really, really close and draft from each other. And it's just being in the right place at the right time. When you draft like this in these races, there tends to be a lot of accidents. I don't know if anybody saw the duel last night. Last night we had the first and second duel race, which was a qualification for the Cup Series in the Daytona 500. Joey Logano won the first race in the first duel, and Eric Almirola, South Florida guy, won the second race. After a very big wreck in the second race, Kyle Busch was leading the race, being pushed by Daniel Suarez, and Daniel pushed a little too hard, and Kyle hit the wall, and it wrecked a bunch of cars behind him as well.
Yeah, I saw the highlights of that as always. I hung out with Logano in Little Havana.
Yep. He was making mojitos. I remember that.
You remember that? Remember that? He was a good sport about all that stuff. So it was that was a cool thing that we did. I wish we would do more of that actually, because I think that's actually a really cool crossover.
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of people don't like the guy on the track, but because you met him, what a nice guy. I mean, the guy is a class guy, family man, good person. I mean, he's a really nice person.
Yeah, most of the racers are really cool dudes. I've had, obviously there's always going to be a jerk or two in anything, but in general, actually, race car drivers are pretty good dudes. It's kind of, it reminds me a lot of hockey players. That most of the hockey players are just down to earth people. You know what I mean? Of course, you're going to have a jerk or two in every bunch. You know what I'm saying? But auto racing and hockey, they've got some just real down to earth dudes more often than
funny because you see these guys on TV and things they do on the track or wherever, it gives you this idea that they're like not a good person. And when you meet them in person, they just totally it's funny how it just completely changes your attitude for the TV persona versus the in-person persona.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. And by the way, walk people through the hell they got to go through in a race, because man, they've got to stay hydrated, but at the same time, bathroom breaks, being in that suit the entire time, just it's not an easy thing.
Yeah, day of a race, you'll see almost every driver with either Gatorade in their hand, power, some kind of drink like that. And a lot of these guys drink Pedialyte too. They're drinking Pedialyte all day long to stay hydrated. So because it's wearing. A race like this, 500 miles, a lot of laps. In a hot car, you're lucky sometimes if your air conditioning doesn't break in the car. They get a little air comes through, through the car and gets into their helmets and stuff like that. But sometimes that stuff doesn't work very well, and it's these guys get out of the car ready to drop sometimes.
So what are we looking forward to this weekend for KSDT? What car are we rooting for?
So we sponsor JD Motorsports, Bailey. So we're looking forward to Bailey Curry having a good run. We'll be our first race with a full car wrapped with Bailey will be California, and then from California we're going to go to Las Vegas. So we have those first two races. Obviously we're going to do Homestead again this year. But the other two races, we're not 100% sure. Probably going to do Charlotte because of the fact that we're going to be opening an office in North Carolina this year. And then the other race, we still haven't chosen which race we're going to do. Looking to see if any of my clients want to go to a race, trying to make it, client friendly, I guess, and bring clients out and show them a good time.
By the way, your favorite podcast wants to go. We wouldn't mind being in Vegas or, covering any of these races. So just, your favorite show would like to go on the road too and cover these events.
March 4th and 5th, I'll be in Vegas for the Vegas race, and we'll be having a full sponsored car. Your problem, Big O, is you work too much, man.
No, we don't work enough, right? I think we don't work enough, actually. No. It's funny because March 4th is the day I come back from the combine.
Yeah, the football season's over, so we have a little bit more time now.
Yeah. Well, although I'm at the combine that week. So, it's like, okay, well, I got to cover, the football off season is also another monster too. It's really amazing how it's turned out that way. So is Bailey ready? Feels good?
Bailey, he gets his hands dirty, man. He's out there in the garage. He's helping out, doing stuff. He's not like your other type of drivers. And then, Sunday, I'm rooting for Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is a good friend of ours in the firm. He's in a new car with a new team with Richard Childress now instead of being with Joe Gibbs, and in a Chevy now instead of a Toyota. Unfortunately, car looked really good yesterday. He was leading the race, 35 laps in, and before he had an accident. So I have high hopes for Kyle on Sunday to do well.
Okay, that's I'm looking forward to that. And so you just kind of glazed over the news because we've talked about the North Carolina office. So what is there a target date or a target area of the year where that might be open?
So typically, Big O, we go into new markets with acquiring or merging with another firm. Looking for an older CPA hire and doesn't really have a way to kind of pass on his business to his staff. So we were in negotiations with two different firms. Nothing has been able, we haven't been able to close anything yet. We do have one employee there in North Carolina already. So she's working from home for now. So it just doesn't make sense to open up an office for her yet until we get some more people there. So we do have someone there. Just going to open that office as soon as I can get some more people in an office.
Okay. All right. And by the way, we are hiring here, right? In Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. KSDT CPA is also looking for a few more good employees, right?
I'll be honest with you, we're hiring anywhere in the country because we'll hire remote employees. We'll take anyone wherever they are to work for us. We're just looking for qualified people that want to have a really good culture. I think you see the culture there. Guys there playing in the kitchen there in front of you. Hopefully they haven't been too loud there in front of you today.
Oh, no. And you know what? I always tell them, because they worry about playing foosball in front of me while I'm on. I'm like, you guys can go play foosball all you want. It won't affect the show whatsoever. So go ahead and all that. That usually happens. So far, they have not crowded around yet to like you could tell when they want to play foosball. And I'm like, yeah, man, go ahead and play foosball. It doesn't. I mean, I've done shows in strip clubs. I mean, once you have the headphones on and the mic and it's directional, it's not really picking up all the outside sound. It's only really picking up directly what's going on in the voice. The outside stuff is heard in the background, but it's not really, it doesn't really get in the way. So, I told them go, because then I can do a little play-by-play at the same time and have a little
There you
fun.
go.
You know what I'm saying?
There's competitions in the office. They have teams and stuff, and they meet regularly to play these competitions. So, we have a stock kitchen there, beautiful kitchen with full of food. We have a really good atmosphere. It's not all about just working. You spend more time at work than you do anything else in your life. So you got to enjoy where you are and enjoy the people you're working with. And that's what we try to preach.
I want to move into this kitchen. I mean, that's basically what I want. I could just live in this kitchen right here. I'm be nice and comfortable. I got giant TVs. I got a foosball. I got couches. I got all kinds. I got food. I got multiple microwaves. There's refrigerators. There are all kinds of stuff. See, that's the thing. If you want to apply KSDT, Jeffrey just told you they can hire you anywhere in the country. But boy, you are going to be jealous if you're living in Montana working for a KSDT and you don't get to enjoy this kitchen.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is what it's all there. Look at that.
I'll tell you what, if we just open up the book office.
Look at that. Look at the presentation, the things that they do for us here.
We just opened up the new Boca office last week, and you should see how beautiful that is. That's even nicer than the two offices we have.
Oh, yeah. By the way, when are we doing a show in the Boca office?
Anytime you want. We got plenty of space. We got to fill up that office. We don't have enough people in there right now. So we're looking for a lot of FAU students to join us there at the Boca office.
There you go. So if you guys are looking for work, man, KSDT CPAs. And by the way, we've got now our personal and business taxes. We got the dates coming up. What are the important dates that we got to know?
So there's actually a date from last year that's still out there for anybody to know. So anyone that hadn't filed their 21 tax return, you can still file your tax return and not get a penalty because of Hurricane Ian and I think it was Nicole. So the IRS extended the deadline to March 15th of this year for someone to get to file their tax return. So we're still working on 21 returns for some people that couldn't get their returns in. So we're doing that. And then you have your March 15th tax deadline for S corporations and partnerships. And then your April 15th tax deadline for personal returns and corporate returns. Now, we can extend those things. So the corporate and personal returns would be extended to October 15th. And the S corporation returns and the partnership returns would be extended to September 15th.
Okay.
But
I don't think I'll need any extensions.
Even though you get an extension, you can still make payment by April 15th. The IRS wants their money by April 15th no matter what.
Well, they'll get my money because they always get my money. But what else? What else are they gonna do? Although the good thing is, all I did was buy and hodl all year, so all those service fees, I'm going to be able to write them off because boy, I got nailed with this shit ton of service fees in 2022. But it was a beautiful year to hodl, man. You see how the crypto market is bouncing back strong, brother. Strong.
Yep, absolutely.
Are you believing it? Because I got to tell you, Jeffrey, I thought we were still going to go through some hell for the first 6 months, 7 months or something. I thought maybe by July, August, we would really start to take off. I've been surprised by the turnaround in the stock market and also in the crypto market. Although I wish these other Fed chairs would shut the hell up. And, they fudded the market yesterday. Well, maybe we need to be even more aggressive and all that and higher more, or more rate hikes. And like the stock market freaked out yesterday on that. And even the crypto market went down a little bit. Now Bitcoin's back up over 24K again, and it'll probably get back to 25 again. But it's kind of weird right now. Are you believing this run? Or is this what we call a fake bull run? How are you looking at it?
We're still going to have some headwinds in both the stock market and in crypto, and I think more like when these numbers start coming in a little bit better, that we're tackling the inflation. I mean, right now, just wage inflation is huge, and that's affecting everything. So I think once some of that settles down, I think everything will start heading upwards. I mean, now's a good time to buy. You don't just buy everything in one shot, little by little, buy the dips. And
DCA.
You'll be in good shape in the future.
And I'm with you because I think I still think we're going to get higher highs and higher lows, but I think we're going to go like this.
Yep.
You know, that where you're going like yesterday, you hit 25 and boom, went back right down to 23.7. Now it starts to climb back up again. And so now you won't get a lower low. You're going to get a higher low, but you're still going to get your ups and downs. I don't think it's going to be all parabolic. You know what I mean?
I'm not going to a lot of money, but I'm buying it every dip I can.
Exactly. I mean, I kind of already like, I was lucky last couple months. I stacked it up. So I did well. I kind of hit the bottom,
Yep.
you know, really well. And so now at least on the crypto side, I'm not buying nearly as much because I got a lot of it low. Still buying a little Bitcoin because that's never going to hurt. You know, actually the one that's really a bargain still is Ethereum.
Yeah.
Because Ethereum has not made its run yet.
Yep.
And to me, that is one like, you know, Polkadot's starting to make its run. It's still at a really good bargain. I really think, I think Cardano's an absolute steal right now still. It went up to 41 cents, but it went back down to 38.39 yesterday. And to me, I think Cardano is going to be a monster down the line, and it still has a lot of room to grow. So there's still like VeChain, I still think is a really good bargain right now. I don't think Avalanche is overpriced around $17, $18 right now. I still think it has a big run to come. So you're right. There are still some things that you can DCA in and really gain a lot of value, because a lot of this stuff is still down 60, 70, 80% from its previous highs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's very interesting times.
Yeah, it is. Did you take advantage of the Tesla dip? Because that was a sweet dip down to like 105, 106. And whoever took advantage of that, brother, they already doubled their money.
My sad face here, I don't know if it shows you the answer to that. I had a lot, I own a Tesla. I have a Model S.
I know.
And I had so much money in Tesla stock that I just didn't have the guts to put more in, to be honest with you. And I am totally regretting it now. Totally regretting it.
Yeah, because it's a money stock, man. It's an Amazon, it's an Apple. It's just one of those where, I know he has his wacky ways at times, but he's a freaking genius. And eventually his company will move forward. I mean, they were the number one car company this past year.
Yeah.
Number one, period. Not number one electric. They were the number one car company.
The stuff you do with Twitter scares me that it's going to have some backlash on Tesla. And that's one of the reasons I need to put more money in now. If it comes down a little bit more, I'm definitely a buyer of Tesla in the future too.
It's weird because he says he's voted pretty much Democrat every time. I think he said he voted Republican once. He says he's an independent, kind of moderate, but a lot of the stuff that he was saying was, a lot of hard right stuff. And the problem is that, dude, probably the people that are buying your cars are probably more on the left side. So you were kind of pissing off the people that are buying your cars almost. And so, yeah, I get what you're saying, that it was kind of weird. The stuff that he was spewing was kind of going against what his customer base probably is. Yep. So it was just kind of a weird dynamic. But eventually people will say, I'll use this as an example. Chick-fil-A got into some hot water years ago about their hiring and if they are, LGBTQ friendly and all that kind of stuff. But in the end, people still said, Chick-fil-A sandwich is so damn good. I'm going to get in that line and I'm going to make the line and I'm going to buy my sandwich. And I think it's the same thing that, yeah, the guy might say wacky this, that, but Tesla's still a great vehicle. I'm still going to go buy, the vehicle. So I think eventually the product still shines through when it's all said and done, whether it's Chick-fil-A or whether it's Tesla. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly what's going to happen with Tesla. I'm waiting for all that noise to die down and people forget, and then hopefully the stock comes back.
Yeah, hey, listen, everybody forgot that Rick Sanchez was hanging out with San Pedro, and he went on to have a career after that. You know what I'm saying? So the public has a very, very short memory. I don't, but the public has a very short memory, but that's just kind of, the way it goes. Anyway, all right. So you're going to give us a cruise? You're going to show us a little bit of...
this is the room in here that I'm in. It's... Say hi to Cindy there.
Hi.
Cindy's Bailey Curry's manager. She came in to get his race suit and helmet. Got the KCD.
Hello, Sydney.
We have a photo shoot.
So we're gonna go do a photo shoot with a KCD helmet. So
nice.
This is the hauler here.
They've seen the helmet.
Yeah, they've seen the helmet. So this is
the helmet's badass.
And I don't know if you can see right above me. That's the car. That's the backup car right there.
Okay. All right.
Don't know if you can see it. Here we're under the backup.
I see it. Yeah.
Which way, Jeff?
So right there, you can see the car up there. That's the backup car up there. Here's our hauler driver here, Brian.
Howdy.
So,
what's up, Brian?
So this is where we're coming out of the hauler here. Got the backup car up there. And all the cars now are headed to inspection. So I'll show you some cars.
And this is where they have the car, and then they stack the tires next to it, and they inspect the tires and everything else, right?
They're pushing the cars through inspection right now. There's one car here still that hasn't gone to inspection yet. Don't know if you can see that.
Okay.
And this is the garage area. So those are all the garages where they work on the cars. And I'll take you to the inspection area where some of the cars are going through inspection. They're all lined up here, and one by one going through and trying to pass inspection here. Take it to inspection.
It's very cool. Yeah. And you know what, Jeff? Tell people, what does a car run for? Like how much does a car cost? Each car, what do they go for?
It all depends. Different teams put different amount of money in a car. You know,
average.
I can tell you what sponsorship goes for. That is quite expensive. So here we are. Let me show you here. This is where NASCAR does their inspections. So the cars are being weighed here and measured and all kinds of stuff like that. And, they're making adjustments to the cars and stuff. And this is the inspection process here. And
I love it.
Say hi to Bailey Curry here. The Go Show.
There we go.
You guys have talked to Bailey.
Bailey. What's up, baby? Win that race, man. Win that race.
That's the plan.
There you go. Good luck, baby. Kick ass.
This is the car this weekend that Bailey will be running in. So they're next to go in line here to go to inspection and check out all of they check out underneath the car, they check out inside the hood, they check in the trunk, they check everything out and make sure.
Do they test Bailey for steroids?
Well, there is random drug testing in NASCAR, so crew members and drivers all get called in once in a while for a random drug test.
So you can't juice, you can't take any steroids? Is that what it is? Or what are they testing? No, seriously, what are they testing for?
For mostly drugs.
Okay. Yeah. I doubt steroids are going to help you in a race.
All of us with these hard cards, we're all subject to random drug testing.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's understandable. Like I was saying, you got frozen for a second there. Steroids aren't going to help you in a race. That's for sure. Good stuff. Hey, Jeffrey, man, thank you for taking some time and giving us a treat there, man. Checking out the pits there and the testing. I appreciate it as always. And remember, KSDT CPAs hiring Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, and even in North Carolina. And you don't even have to live in those areas. You can actually work remotely too. So reach out to the great people here at the KSDT CPA offices if you're looking for work. And of course, if you want to do your taxes for your business, your home, they can help you in so many ways. They can help your business grow too. They're helping our business grow. Please call the people here at KSDT CPAs. Jeffrey, thank you, my brother. Enjoy the races this weekend. You be safe out there.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You got it, baby. Be good. There you go. Jeffrey Tarabolis, man. KSDT CPA offices. How about that? That's a cool little thing, huh? To get a tour of the pits. That is awesome. And those cars probably go for $300,000-$500,000, right? More than that, you think? More than that?
I think the engines alone are
$500,000.
Or $500,000. Yeah. Let me look that up.
Yeah, it's probably big money. Knight, thank you, by the way, for a super chat. He said, doesn't matter. Just wondering if you knew about the Emmett stuff. Thank you. Appreciate you. Griffin Gaming, taxation is extortion. Well, That's kind of. Listen, let me tell you something. I can live with the taxes. Okay, we have to pay for things, so I can live with the taxes. What I don't want to live with is the mismanagement of the money, like that $1.7 trillion mess that the Democrats just passed, okay, and that the Republicans agreed to because they probably did their own dirty work behind the scenes on it. So, but I know that there's a whole bunch of misspending there. My problem is you're destroying the dollar. That's my real problem. I can deal with the taxes. I'll pay my fair share just like you should, like we all should. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with you mismanaging the rest of our economy and misusing our taxes, obviously, too, because you mismanage everything. So to me, that's what I have a real problem with. That's why I'm such a Bitcoin advocate, because I see what's going on with our dollar. I see what's going on, how you buy less and less and less. That's why I told you, if you would have put $1,000 on Bitcoin at 16,500, you would have $1,500 right now. Okay? It only goes up. The money only goes up on Bitcoin. It doesn't go down. It went from 0 to 67,000, which no asset class has ever done that. And yeah, it came back down because it was too much of a parabolic rise. And now it's leveled off. And it's still at $24,000. What the hell increases like that? Nothing. That's why I'm such a Bitcoin maxi. It's like to me, that is what's going to help all. Do you see what happened in Nigeria? They're burning down a bank because they closed it down. They couldn't get their money. You see what happened in Serbia? Same thing. Rioting because they closed down the bank account, the banks, because they control it. Do you think they really have your money in the bank? No. They owe so much. They don't have they can't give you all your money all at once. They'll never be able to do it. And they know it. That's why they ship it out to reserves. And then the reserves are the ones that are controlling everything. It's just, it's brutal, dude. Brutal. Yes, sir.
Car prices are actually cheaper than I thought. You're about right. 200 to 600,000 for a Cup Series car, which is the higher level. Okay. The engines are only 100,000. I thought the engines were more than that.
Only.
And then the trucks and Xfinity cars.
You need one of those?
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. Sorry, just whipping your wallet out there.
100,000.
The trucks and the Xfinity cars, which are the cars you were just seeing there, run about 100 to 200,000 before costs.
Okay.
But that's just to get the car.
Yeah, so it's probably in the 300 to 500 range.
Yeah. So yeah,
probably in the 300 to 500 range, like what I thought.
And then you can soup them up in different parts.
I bet the Indy cars are the ones that are probably pushing closer to $1 million.
Yeah, those in the F1s. Yeah.
Those things are probably pretty whack. What they're spending on that stuff there.
Because technically these are stock cars, so
right. Griffin Gaming, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. Very strong there. Wow. Obviously, the mismanagement is a major problem, but to me, I just find it incredibly appalling that the government forces you to incriminate yourself and hand over a bunch of private documents for the crime of working. If you don't incriminate yourself, you go to prison. I know it's just, it's a screwed up situation. I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. And a lot of the stuff that they do is just, and if you allow certain people to take control, they will even take more control. Daniel Borrasso, big old long-time listener. I'm a little behind, but I feel like they should have divided NBA salaries by games and pay them only for the games they play. NBA isn't load managing season ticket prices. They'll never do that, my brother. They'll never do that. The players aren't going to commit to that. That's like telling your kid that, you can, let me see. Let me, how would I phrase it that this is a way of telling your kid that, God, to easy get away with something. Well, if you sleep in today, I'll let you stay up for the next 4 nights. Yeah, of course they'll do that. Now, I can't let you sleep in. I mean, I can't let you stay up every day because you haven't done your homework or something like that. Then it all gets, kind of crazy because now they've got to pay the price of homework in order to stay up. And that might be something that they may not even be willing to do. You know what I'm saying? So this is like, yeah, no, we'll pay you, but you don't have to show up for all the games. Oh, I can get away with that? Okay, great. Let's see. Alan is watching. He says, you need to visit our new Boca Raton office that we just opened, 9951 Yamato Road. I'm ready, Alan. I hope you feel better, my brother. I know he's a little under the weather, so that's why he's not here today. If not, he would be here with us hanging out. So miss you, Alan. Appreciate you, my brother. And we are ready to do a show in Weston and in West Palm whenever you guys want. We will head up there. I'll probably pick Sean up that day, and then we'll head. He says we need to get a hotel. Nerdsworth says we have sent $200 billion to Ukraine. Thank God the money wasn't used to improve the railroad infrastructure. Well, they've had that. That's been there for decades, my brother. That's multiple presidents. That has nothing to do with one president. See, that's the problem, Poindexter. If you're trying to use this as a weapon to pick on one side, sorry, brother. That's going to fall weakly here. I'm not here to defend the Democrats, but I'm not here to defend the Republicans either. Okay, so our roads, our bridges, and all that stuff. Apparently, this $1.7 trillion deal, a lot of it, if you haven't noticed, see, Nerdsworth, my problem is, do you follow politics? Because McConnell and Biden were together recently at a bridge, I think it was. And, they also got the improvements for the Golden Gate and for this is actually part of it. Okay. So this is actually the big plan that has actually put money into infrastructure. Okay. The last guy talked about it, but never did it. Just like he talked about a new health plan and he never did it. See, some of you don't follow jack shit. You run your mouth and you don't know anything that's going on in the world. Okay. I'm not a Biden guy, but he's actually doing stuff for the infrastructure. Yeah. He's actually doing it, but all that stuff, now it comes, and this happens, these two disasters. Well, the one in Michigan apparently is not near, there was no spillage of chemicals like there was in Ohio. But these disasters happen, and now you've got to do something about it. But we've known that we needed our bridges, our roads, and railroads, and everything improved. That's been going on for decades. So don't blame one. And by the way, feeding Ukraine, the world feeding Ukraine, is actually smart. The last thing you want is for Russia to take over Ukraine and then also affect Europe. That would be worse. So it's actually a positive to do that. That's actually, I'm not a Biden guy, but that's actually an indirect way and a very smart way. The ruble's gone down. They're selling less gas. They're getting weakened. So that's what's happening. Some of you out there, Nerdsworth, you really don't follow. You just run your mouth and you want to blame a side and you really don't know what the hell you're talking about. But hey, thanks for watching and participating. Speaking of badass cars, what was yours and Sean's first ride? Mine was a Fiat Strada. Yikes. Mine, I can't complain. My dad, rest in peace. He was, a golden man and deserved to live a lot longer than 51. He got me a Mustang Mach 2 as my first car. The square back, and it was painted beautifully red with a black stripe. Had a 302, whatever is what it normally comes with. That's a badass car for your first car. right? I mean, that's a pretty cool car. So my dad spoiled me when I was a kid. So I had a really I can't complain, dude. I was spoiled. So
I had a Chevy Chevette,
okay.
which we took it to, at the time, Mako, because they did the paint
Right,
jobs.
yeah.
And they let me pick out the color. And I saw this blue color, and I was like, I want it to be that. And he said, just so you know, it's not going to look just like that when you pick up the car. When it hits the body, it's not going to look. I was like, it's fine. So I picked it up, and I walked by my car because I didn't realize that was the color. I had a Smurf blue 1984 Chevy Chevette, which we called the Smurf Mobile.
Nice.
And I put speakers in the back, and we rode out down the strip, down to Fort Lauderdale.
There you go. I love it. A Chevy Chevette. There you go. That's a classic.
Thanks, Dad.
That is a classic. So, yeah, I had a good car for my first car. I can't complain. Ray says, so NBC will be out any sports anchors. Refresh my memory. Has that happened? Bro, they don't care about sports on television. It's like, it's like a redheaded stepchild. It's casted aside. So, yeah, no, not a big deal. Let's see. GM 305 is Formula One in Miami this year. Anyone knows? Yeah, they will have it in
May 5th through the 7th. I looked it up when I saw the comment.
Yeah, at the stadium.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be there.
May 5th through the 7th. Tickets are on sale.
Yep. Awfully quiet in here all of a sudden. Why is it? I follow so deeply that I digress and share nothing. Let's see. You were only a kid, I guess. Oh, so you were spoiled. Yes, I was. I was spoiled. I was an only child. I had divorced parents. They were constantly fighting over me, which was the worst experience ever of my life. It was just I had an ugly childhood in the sense of my parents constantly fighting and doing all kinds of crazy shit against each other, and then I was the tool in the middle. But I was spoiled in the process. My dad did get me anything that I needed. So although he always made me work while he give me anything, I always had a job. Like he would be pissed at me if I didn't have a job. So I always had a job because he always said, I'll give you whatever you need, but I need you to know the value of money. So you've got to work for yourself to make sure. So it's probably why I am what I am nowadays. Why I am a workaholic, because I've always worked. I've been working since I was a kid with a Miami news route. And, that's when I was like 12 and 14 and 13 and all that I would have the paper route. And so, yeah, I was spoiled, but I always worked. That's for sure. Because he would tell me, I'll give you money for what you need, gas, or if you need a car, if you need clothes. But if you want to go out and take a girl out, you need your own money. Oh, you want to go to a concert? You need your own money. And so then I would have a job so I could pay for concerts or concert shirts, or if I wanted to go out with a girl or something like that. So he would give me the necessities and top-notch necessities, okay? Like if I needed clothes, I would go get whatever I had to get, top of the line, in those days. Whatever it was that kids were wearing, I wore. And if I needed a new pair of Dr. J's, he got them for me. But if I needed to go out and do extra stuff, that's when he would say, where's your money? Oh, Valentine's Day's coming up. You got to buy your girlfriend. You got a job? That's what he would say. That's how he separated church and state. You know what I mean? So yes, I was very, very spoiled, but I was also taught what work was all about. And that he never allowed me to feel comfortable in that sense. So it didn't matter if I was working at Playworld or Black Angus or a gas station or, God, what's the name of those clothes stores that I worked at in Westland Mall and in Omni? I forgot the name of it now, but I always had a job. Always had a job since I was a youngin'. It's always been my thing. Oh, what's your first concert and how old were you? Oh, God. So a while ago, we're ready to go, right? Scott Pianowski. Scott Pianowski's ready to go. Let me stop ranting. Let's get hour number 3 ready. Scott Pianowski with our Sports Grill Miami Dolphins and NFL report.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines. If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. While the NFL plans for the 2023 season, the Big O Radio Show keeps you informed by tracking everything from free agency, trades, draft, and all the news you can handle. It's the SportsGrill.com Dolphins and NFL Draft Report with Yahoo Sports' Scott Pianowski.
There is locked and loaded and ready to go. How you feeling, Mr. Pianowski?
I'm doing good. I'm kind of regretfully. I was really enjoying that last segment. About your childhood. A lot of stuff I didn't know about you, and somebody asked about your first concert. I was really curious to hear what you said about that. I could talk about this. Could be, if you want to make this a music segment, we talk about music for the next 20 minutes. I mean, nothing would make me happier than that. And you couldn't remember the name of the place that you worked as a kid. I was like, did you work at Chess King or something? I was trying to think of what clothing store you might have worked at.
It wasn't Chess King. I do remember Chess King, but we had branches in Westland Mall, in Omni, and there was another one in North Miami Beach. I worked in two of the locations, Westland Mall, and then they moved me over to the Omni location for a short amount of time there. But I forgot the name of the place because I used to get a lot of my dress clothes there, and I was able to always
employee discount. That's a big thing when you're a kid. What was the first concert you went to?
The first.
Mm-hmm.
Boston Poco Doobie Brothers, and then Van Halen, Fair Warning tour.
That's great. Yeah, the Unchained, my favorite Van Halen song. My first concert wasn't that good, although it wasn't bad. I saw Starship open for Night Ranger, and now Jefferson Starship would have been great, or Jefferson Airplane. I saw Starship. They opened and closed with "We Built This City," which is like, you look at any list of the worst rock and roll songs of all time. And in fact, even Grace Slick has walked away from that song. She's like, "Yeah, we wish we didn't record that." But
yeah, I hate that song. Actually,
yeah, everybody does.
It's like Billy Joel. We didn't start the fire.
Terrible.
Every time I go to a Billy Joel concert, that's when I go get my T-shirt. When he plays "We Didn't Start the Fire," you watch my ass get right up and walk over to go get my T-shirt, because I don't make the line like everybody in a Billy Joel concert. A lot of times I'll go early and I'll make my line, I'll get my T-shirt. In a Billy Joel concert, I know he's going to play that shit song, because I love Billy Joel, but that one song I can't stand.
I've actually flipped on Billy Joel. I used to really like him, and then at one point I realized I didn't. I had a party. I saw a girl I didn't even know. I said, "Do you like Billy Joel?" She goes, "I love Billy Joel." I said, "Hang on one second." And I came back and gave her all my Billy Joel CDs. And the fact that they were CDs tells you how old this was. But I'm so jealous that you saw Van Halen. A friend of mine and I were talking
a shit ton of times.
Yeah, a friend of mine and I were talking about the greatest riffs of all time, and I think we came up with Unchained being the greatest riff. They have a live CD from Tokyo a few years ago, and David Lee Roth, his voice isn't anything what it used to be, but listen to just the first 35 seconds of Unchained before Roth even sings. Just Eddie is just wailing away, and the fact that I thought Eddie Van Halen was going to live forever. He obviously didn't. We lost him a couple of years ago. And that hit me and my friends really hard, because he was our guy. As much as I have great reverence for, Jeff Beck we just lost, and Jimi Hendrix, and the Rolling Stones are probably my favorite band of all time. But the guitar god that I grew up with was where I saw all his albums come out, and I looked forward to it. And when I was in 8th grade or 10th grade, every guy in school wishes he was Eddie Van Halen, and every girl in school wanted to meet Eddie Van Halen. He was just the ultimate cool guy when I was a teenager. So you never forget those formative years, and just, what a god he was.
From that first album, On Fire that's my favorite Van Halen song. And Eddie's guitar work in On Fire is just absolutely sick. That and Atomic Punk, actually.
So many great songs.
Two of the songs that are like
I love Diver Down, which is an album a lot of people don't talk about. Little Guitars is one of my favorite songs.
Hang 'em High, Little Guitars,
for sure.
Yeah. No, Diver Down is actually underrated.
I do. I think so too. Where do you come down on the Hagar stuff?
I at first I didn't like Van Hagar, because I was so pissed that they broke up.
For sure.
But Van Hagar grew on me, and I love it. And I ended up enjoying it, not more than the original, of course, because I will always love that bluesy sound more than anything else. Because David Lee Roth had a sound. He didn't have a voice. He had a sound. That's what it is. He didn't have a great voice or anything, but he had a sound that went perfect with that music. You know what I mean? And he's not the first of guys like that they didn't really have a voice, but they developed a sound. I thought Kevin DuBrow from Quiet Riot wasn't necessarily a great singer, but he had a sound that went with Quiet Riot, overall. So, to me, that's where I fell in love with that sound from Van Halen. Obviously, Halen's guitar is amazing. I think Michael Anthony doesn't
Grossly
get
underrated.
Yeah. Maybe as a hard rock band, it might be the greatest harmonies I've ever seen from a band. Okay, I'm not
Unbelievable
talking
background
about
vocals from Anthony.
yeah, I'm not talking about the Eagles or Little River Band or
Crosby,
these
Stills and Nash. Yeah,
Crosby, Stills. I'm not talking about the elite, the elite, stuff when it comes to singing. But as a hard rock metal band, Halen might have been the greatest background vocals I've ever seen. You know what I mean?
I would love to meet Michael Anthony and just tell them thank you. Here's a guy who voted against his own interest to stay in the band, and was about as selfless as a rock star could be.
Yeah.
Because of the politics of what was going on in Van Halen and the unbelievable background harmonies. Just seems like a really great guy. Running with the Devil, I think Neil Monk was the name of the guy. He also died a few years ago. He wrote a book. He was their manager and told some great stories. And I agree with you on how I unpack Van Halen. Van Halen with Roth is a legendary band, and David Lee Roth is a perfect frontman for that band.
The best
Van Hagar is a very good band. They're not Van Halen. Van Halen is like on an untouchable pantheon level, like an A+ band, and then the second version of the band is like an A- or a B+. Still a lot of good songs, but it's not Van Halen.
Yeah, King Short's coming in with Mean Street. Yeah, it's
so good.
That whole album, Fair Warning, for me is just a phenomenal album. Just everything, One Foot Out the Door, you name it. It's just an incredible. What is it? Dirty Movies, right? Is it Dirty Movies? That whole album is just, it goes under the radar. I think it's just
check out that live version of Unchained. I keep playing the first 45 seconds of it over and over again because Eddie just comes in like a friggin' avalanche. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, towards the end of their run, I would go knowing that David can't sing, but I just wanted to get my ticket on the right side of the stage, just so I can see Eddie jam the entire night, because that's what it became the last couple of tours. Hell, I went to Jersey to go see them for that last album that they came out with. And I drove, and we flew up there, and I knew that David couldn't sing, but it didn't matter to me. I was there to see Eddie and the rest of the band. Because, by the way, Alex Van Halen doesn't get enough credit also as a drummer.
Unbelievable.
Just like the bassist, Anthony doesn't get enough, credit as a bassist for exceptional, talents in their own right. And Roth for me was the best frontman I've ever seen. Okay,
cool enough to be in The Sopranos, right? I mean, he's in The Sopranos poker game.
Yeah. He could move a crowd like I've never seen before, and the athleticism that he had on stage with the swords and the staff or whatever he had as a prop, when he arrived to your town, because the dude was like a badass, bro. I mean,
I can only imagine what his knees and back are like today. We think about like the prices football players pay. What was the price of David Lee Roth doing all those calisthenics on stage every night?
He'll tell you his body is all messed up now.
Yeah, it has to be.
This point. Yeah, definitely. He'll definitely tell you that. That's for sure. Let's see what. Okay. Anyway. So we got a bunch of things going on. By the way, you're looking forward to Travis Kelce on Saturday Night Live?
I guess so. I wish he'd lose this idea that the Chiefs are somehow underrepresented or underrespected or something. Come on, everybody knows Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the NFL. Yeah. Nobody who's out there like, I doubt Patrick Mahomes. I doubt Travis Kelce. Stop it. I realize that's what every athlete does. The slights or perceived slights, they use it as fuel, and I get it, but the Chiefs are overdogs. They're not under. Yeah, maybe they were a 1-point underdog in the Super Bowl. Obviously, you and I both picked Kansas City. Game could have gone either way.
Yeah,
didn't like the way the game ended, but well, I guess Bradbury grabbed him, so it is. So it goes. But I just want to see more football.
Dude, by the time we got halfway through the season, most of us were saying Mahomes is the MVP.
For sure.
What the hell are we talking about? I mean, give me a
stop it. Stop it with this Patrick Mahomes is, 2 MVPs. He's been to 3 Super Bowls. He's on every other commercial. And he's great. And I have nothing against Patrick Mahomes. Just let's not act like he's some secret. He's not some bar without a sign on front. Everybody knows Patrick Mahomes.
Anybody with a brain will tell you he's the gold standard at quarterback.
He separated himself. You could. It's one of those things. You can name a lot of number 2s. You could give me Hurts. You could give me Josh Allen. You could give me.
We can argue.
Joe
we can
Burrow.
argue. We can have a discussion on it.
Yep.
Right.
Look at the year Tua just had. He led the NFL in a bunch of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of guys who could be that number 2. Mahomes is always going to be the number 1 until somebody knocks him off. And Andy Reid is already in the Hall of Fame. They did it with the most average receiver room. Juju, just a guy right now. MVS was even in the Super Bowl. I don't remember doing a thing.
No, I know it's that's the impressive part with them. Obviously, they're elite at tight end, but at wide receiver, they were definitely not special. But when you're special at quarterback, that's what makes the difference. And, the whole team contributed there. Special teams had a monster return to give you pretty much a gift of a touchdown. The defense scored. So that, when you're getting contributions from all phases of the game, this is why, you end up as a Super Bowl winner.
For sure. We said last week, look, they're not going to stop the Eagles. You just have to disrupt them. And what did they do? They got a takeaway and it turned into a touchdown.
Yeah.
That was enough to flip the game. That was the most important play of the game, you could argue.
Let me ask you something. The Sean Payton story now, and now Rex Ryan is the leading candidate for defensive coordinator. Why is it, and I get he's a good coach, don't get me wrong now, why is it I think this is going to be a disaster in Denver?
Just when somebody's been out of coaching as long as Rex Ryan has been, it just makes you a little bit nervous, right? Has anybody come back from a really long coaching? I mean, look, Joe Gibbs was amazing.
Only Vermeil.
Yeah, Vermeil's a good example of somebody it did work out. But I just, when somebody's been out of the game so long, it just makes me a little bit nervous.
No, I'm with you, but also Sean's cockiness, and it's just there's something about this that. It just, I don't know, man. It just doesn't, it does, he had a lot of support in the Saints that people don't talk about in his front office, and they made a lot of good decisions that weren't necessarily his decisions. And that's what people don't understand. So he's going to be in charge of personnel also. And I just feel that sometimes a coach bites off a little too much. The arrogance and the cockiness kind of take over. And I don't know. I just kind of feel this is an exploding cigar.
Yeah,
I'm completely wrong.
We all need somebody to talk us out of a bad idea. You could argue that's been the problem with Belichick the last few years. He's wearing too many hats. Bill Belichick needs somebody to tap himself on the shoulder and say, no, don't draft that guy. Don't draft N'Keal Harry. Chip Kelly needs somebody to say, no, don't trade for Sam Bradford. We all need somebody to talk ourselves out of a bad idea. And you talk about the arrogance of some of these guys. That's it's like what your greatest strength is can be your greatest flaw sometimes, right? You think back to that great scene in Fast Times at Ridgemont High where Spicoli and the kid, they crash Jefferson's car and the car is totaled. And Spicoli's like, oh no, my dad's a TV repairman. He's got these ultimate set of tools.
I can fix it.
Right. He's like, and the kid goes, you can't fix this car, Spicoli. And Spicoli looks at it. The car could not be more junked. And he goes, I can fix it. That's Sean Payton. Okay. And Russell Wilson right now is the car. And Sean Payton is saying, I can fix it. And everybody else is like, you can't fix this car, Payton. You can't fix this car. You're going to blame it on the Lincoln Surf Nazis because you can't fix this. No, I can fix it. Well, I don't know. Maybe the car is unfixable.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if the car is fixable or not. Did I get your because it was finally official now on the whole Fangio thing?
Oh, in favor for sure.
Yeah.
Definite thumbs up.
Yeah. It's definitely a good move. What'd you think of the two judo stuff?
I'm not sure I saw that. What's he's doing something different for workouts?
Yeah, he's taking judo. I took judo for 3 years, I think it was, and one of the things you do learn in judo is how to fall, and it's helped me throughout my life actually when I've fallen, learning how to break a fall,
balance and stuff. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and so he's taking judo on Fridays now for trying to learn how to fall and break falls.
Oh, I like it. Was judo something you had to pay for, or did your dad cover that?
It was part of private school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was it was our PE class, basically. You either chose PE or if you wanted to take judo, and I took judo for 3 years
I
there.
get it. One underrated part of athletics is balance. And it doesn't even matter what your body type is. You think of somebody like David Wells, right? Who looked like he wasn't an athlete, but he had unbelievable CC Sabathia, unbelievable balance, right? It's a huge part. It's a huge part of the quarterback position. So many, and we always talk about the tight ends. They're all former basketball players. They're all former power forwards and everything. A lot of these skills that you acquire. This is why when kids grow up today, this is one thing that I'll be the old man complaining now. You're yelling at the clouds. I get so frustrated when a kid shows athletic ability and okay, you got to pick a sport. What are you going to be? You're going to be a football player, basketball player, hockey player. You should play everything. You should play soccer. You should play Frisbee. You should play games in your backyard that don't even have a name, right? Randy Moss said when he grew up, they played Razzle Dazzle, which the whole goal was to score a touchdown on every play. You just have fun. Go screw around.
Let me ask you, to build off of your point, this is why, I don't know how much you follow soccer.
I love soccer.
But okay, well, have you noticed that we only develop one player at a world-class level?
Goalies.
You know what player that is?
The goalies.
Why? Every American sport is hand-eye coordination. So you're either playing baseball or basketball or volleyball or hockey or whatever the hell it is. And so soccer, well, okay, you got to work with your feet. That's the only time you do it. But as a goalie, everything's hand-eye coordination. And so if you're playing catcher, you're kind of playing goalie. If you're, whatever, if you're playing anything, it kind of gets to hand-eye coordination. I don't care if you're hitting a baseball. I don't care if you're catching a football, throwing it, whatever it is. I don't care if you're hitting a golf ball. I don't care what it is. There's a hand-eye coordination thing to everything we do in American sports. And to me, that's the only reason why we can come up with goalies that can play at the international level. Now we're starting to come up with some of the players, in other positions, but goalie has been something for now decades now, from Friedel and all those other guys from the past, that we've been able to send internationally because all our sports are hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, people talk about what if Allen Iverson was a soccer player? What if LeBron James was a soccer player? What if Kobe Bryant was a soccer player? And I grew up when soccer took over. Has there been a soccer boom in America? Well, it's happened at the youth level. It's a huge youth sport. It's a huge high school sport. We still haven't. The women, of course, are world class. The men are still lagging behind. We did have a nice World Cup. We advanced to the second stage, played some exciting games. We had trouble finishing, and of course, there was some controversy of why our best players maybe weren't on the field, which is just a really bizarre story in today's current climate. But I don't know. Maybe this World Cup's coming to America soon. I would like to see us. We haven't developed. Landon Dunham is a really good player, but we really haven't had that world class. Clint Dempsey was a good player. We're hoping Pulisic will maybe become that guy. But when are we going to have a world class striker that scares the pants off everybody? We don't have it right now.
No, not yet. It's we're not close to that yet. But eventually, I think we're getting closer to that. But it's kind of weird. So for me, I think Tua is doing a good thing. And listen, anything you can do to try to better yourself and protect yourself, especially as a quarterback, to me, ultimately, like I've said, and I've done it over and over again, all of his big injuries and concussions have come from 3.81 seconds to 5.1 seconds. So to me, ultimately, you better learn how to get rid of the ball under the 3-second mark and do all these other things. Ultimately, that's what's going to keep you upright and keep you having a long career. What he has to stop thinking is that he can be Mahomes or Russell Wilson or any of these kind of scramblers that can go out there and buy themselves time. That's not who he is. He doesn't possess that kind of athleticism. Neither did Drew Brees, neither did Dan Marino, neither did Phil Simms, neither did plenty of quarterbacks in the past. They only were able to move a step or two to buy themselves a millisecond to get rid of the ball. That's what he needs to learn how to do and keep it that way.
For sure, that pocket awareness, right? Troy Aikman, Tom Brady. Marino was so good at it. Just find that quiet area in the pocket, shift a little bit. And, of course, Marino had the fastest release of anybody. Joe Namath's release was right up there. People forget because Brady didn't want to get hit at the end of his career. You watch the first part of his career, the first, 2/3 of his career, his pocket awareness was unbelievable, where he had a sixth sense of where the chaos was coming from. It's like, okay, if I just step over here, I have functional space. I can release. I can make the throw that I want to throw. And you talk about Tua holding the ball. It's like, they say nothing good happens after 1 a.m. Just cash in your chips and go home. If the play as designed, if you're not on schedule with the play, it's just like, get rid of it. It's, again, you're not Michael Vick, you're not Steve Young, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's where the bad stuff is happening. You said after that 5-second interval or whatever it is. So,
yes.
I can't wait though, man. The Dolphins can still look around the league and be like, hey, we got Tyreek Hill, we got Jalen Waddle. That's the best 1-2 in the NFL. We saw how badly Buffalo struggled because they never found a second pitch, right? We saw how good the Eagles were because they had 3 guys who could threaten every inch of the field in Brown, in Smith, in Dallas Goedert. You can't just have one guy. And Buffalo, that really was the fatal flaw of Buffalo. We saw how much Cincinnati struggled in the games that Chase didn't play. You need more than one guy, and Miami's got that, and most teams, they're lucky if they have one person.
No, I'm with you there. By the way, going back to Kansas City, one of the things that I think is also amazing about them, and it's going to lead to the next question I'm about to ask you, is that Andy Reid, you just mentioned, lost Tyreek Hill, and yet not a great receiving core, and they're able to play design, and obviously Mahomes and company, and they go on to win the title. And then the other thing that they've done over the years under Andy Reid is they've lost all kinds of coaches, and yet they overcome that too. And now here's the latest in Eric Bieniemy. Now apparently it's working its way towards Washington. And I know Andy Reid's going to be fine because he always is fine. He always develops the next coaches and the next players and everything else, and the offense will evolve like it always does, no matter what quarterback it is. Even if you're Smith coming over from San Francisco, you're going to play the best year you've ever had of your career because you're playing under this guy. So here's the part B to all of this. Eric Bieniemy needs to leave. The worst thing that's happened to him is that he is stuck there, and that Andy Reid is getting still all the credit. Yet he's still getting a lot of the praise from Andy and others, but nobody's given him that chance. And it's almost like he's got to get away from Pa and go, grow on his own almost. And I feel like this is a really important time for Eric Bieniemy. If he's ever going to be a head coach, if he's ever going to get that respect he needs, he has to get away from the umbrella of Andy Reid so he can finally get the praise that some of the other coaches have gotten since they left Andy Reid.
No, it totally makes sense. You just get overwhelmed by the shadow of Reid. At some point, you've learned all you can from the mentor, and you have to go do your own thing, and be really curious to see how they adjust without him next year. And look at Philadelphia, right? They just lost both their coordinators. They're both head coaches, Indianapolis and Arizona. So that's the price you pay when you win, right? You can't keep all your guys, and you can't keep your best coaches because you can't promote them to head coaches. You already have a head coach,
right?
And so you're going to get your coaching staff is going to get rated. Whether or not that is successful, we'll see. I mean, some of the best coaches of all time, the Bill Belichick coaching tree is famously very mediocre. Joe Judge didn't work out with the Giants. Obviously, Matt Patricia was a disaster. Matt Patricia got absolutely dunked on by Nick Foles and the Eagles, and then he went to Detroit and got dunked on for another 3 years because I think he learned every bad thing about Belichick and didn't learn all the good things. He learned how to be antagonistic with the media, but didn't learn all the stuff that Belichick did that was good. Of course, Belichick welcomes all those guys back, right? I mean, Judge and Patricia were part of the offense this year. Horrible job they did with Mac Jones. They took all the stuff that Mac Jones likes to do and they basically threw it in the trash can. I'm not sure that Mac Jones is ever going to be a great player anyway, but I feel like they set him up to fail. So I'm very curious to see what Bieniemy does. Very well respected. It's hard for us to know. We're not in the room.
Right.
We don't. Some of these position coaches, it's hard to know. If anybody says to me, when Brian Dable went to the Giants, we all had opinions of what he would be, but nobody knew for sure. You don't know how much of Josh Allen's success was Dable. It could be a different position coach. How much of it was Stephon Diggs. Success and failure both have so many parents, and it's really difficult to figure out where the credit belongs. And this is the greatest and the worst thing about NFL debates and arguments. It's like, okay, Montana was the greatest quarterback ever. No. He played with Bill Walsh. He played with Jerry Rice. He played with Roger Craig. Steve Young was just as good as he was. You can give credit any way you want. Nobody can tell you you're wrong. I think Jerry Rice is the best football player I've ever seen, but he played with Montana and Young. He played with Walsh. That's a huge advantage. You can never separate that stuff. Randy Moss on the Raiders was
Yeah.
Randy Moss on the Patriots scored 23 touchdowns.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there too. And we'll see how this whole thing develops. But for him, I think it'll be the best move if he's able to do it, because it will at least be able to give him that opportunity to finally grow and separate himself. And by the way, I think the Dable, what's it called, Dorsey thing,
Ken Dorsey,
kind of separated itself because Allen and company kind of took a step back under Dorsey's. Meanwhile, Dable left. They took a step back, and the Giants and Jones, he got the most out of Jones that you can possibly get, and the most out of that team.
That might have been more impressive. It might have been more impressive
was
making
awesome.
Daniel Jones a good quarterback than it was making Josh Allen a great quarterback.
Yeah, no, it was impressive. I'm with you there. All right, what do you got going on at Yahoo so folks can check you out?
Yeah, a lot of fantasy baseball coverage. The game is open. I did my catcher preview. Fred Zinke is his first base preview today, and we did a mock first round. So get ready for that. And don't worry, football's going to open not too far down the road. We'll be doing a lot of draft coverage. We'll be doing mock drafts. We'll be covering free agency. The NFL is a 12-month calendar, as you know. So whether you're into baseball, football, we'll be doing a lot of March Madness coverage. Tournament's just a couple weeks away. Come get some. Yahoo Sports.
Hey, by the way, where's Jazz Chisholm going in drafts?
Love him. The only thing that makes me a little bit concerned, two things. One, if he bats third, how much does he run? And two, does the position change? Hopefully it doesn't mess with his head. But he is one of my favorite players. Power, speed, category juice. There aren't that many guys who can hit home runs and steal bases. And he's also in his 20s. He's a guy who hasn't had his best season yet. And second base is a very weak fantasy position. He'll qualify at second even if he doesn't play there. So he to me, he's like a 4th or 5th round pick. I'm going to proactively go after Jazz.
And swag to
for sure.
Swag.
A fun guy. He's a really fun player for sure.
Yeah.
He's the reason you buy a ticket to go see him do his thing.
Yeah. Sandy and Jazz are worth the price. Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, follow him on Twitter at Scott_Pianowski and catch his exceptional work there at Yahoo Fantasy. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah, hang him high, my friend.
You got it. As always, there you go. Hang him high. I love it. Little diver down. Don't forget Mondays at Sports Grill, $7 single smash burger. Tuesdays, the $2 tacos, chicken, beef, or fish. Wednesdays, the kids eat for free with the purchase of an adult entree. Take advantage. And you know they're known for their sauces. And now you can actually take them home with you. The buffalo sauce, the Miami Heat, the blackberry, the barbecue, the Dale. And you got the Doral location now open. So you got 8 great locations. And milkshakes every Monday with rock and roll music playing at the Kendall location. Sportsgrill.com. Check out the nearest location to you. We'll take a quick break. Cameron Wolf comes right back. We unleash the Wolf Pack, baby. Talk a little Dolphins and NFL next.
This is the SportsGrill.com Dolphins and NFL Draft Report with Yahoo Sports' Scott Pianowski. Cheer on your favorite South Florida sports team at SportsGrill.com. With 8 great locations, go to SportsGrill.com and find a slice of sports heaven.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchased with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
Oh, what's up, man?
What's happening, baby? How you feeling? You feeling good?
I'm good, man. I'm good, except that I'm in Times Square in a Disney store right now, so my daughter is probably going to cost me a lot of money by the time I get off this show. Other than that, it's good.
But that's all. But it's all good. It's for her, man. You know what I mean? What are you gonna do? Say no? No, you're not gonna do that. So,
no.
You know, that's the way it goes. These are the sacrifices. This is why we work.
Yes,
you know, we work to provide, baby. You know?
Yep.
It's
That's
all
exactly
good.
right. That's exactly right.
By the way, why do I think the Sean Payton thing is going to be a disaster in Denver? Once I heard that Rex Ryan is in the mix, and I just, I got to tell you, bro, I don't sense this having a happy ending for Bronco fans.
Yeah, it seems like it goes one or two ways, right? It goes like it's a disaster, and by midway through the year, everybody wants to get rid of Sean and Russ, and the whole conversation is how did they do this? Or for some reason, some odd reason, the mix match pieces. It does feel like it's a mix and match. You know, with Sean Payton, doesn't really seem like the same personality as Russ. Rex doesn't seem like the same personality as either of them. And you're going to try to make it all work. Sometimes weird things work, and so I'm not sure which way it'll go, but it's going to get plenty of headlines. I'm sure Denver's going to be a spot that's going to be talked about a lot on the talk shows, good or bad, all season.
Yeah, no, I kind of get that feeling, man, overall. Fangio, brother, I don't know about you, but up until about, 2 days ago, I still had, like, Dolphin fans freaking out, like, he hasn't signed. It's like, yo, bro, chill out. It's already done.
Right.
The old man's coming. Relax already.
Oh, yeah, trust me. I got mentions as well. Is Fangio done? And so when they saw that a couple days ago, it kind of put the relief on all Dolphins fans that, yes, it's official. I had Dolphins fans, even after the Eagles lost their DC, asking me, oh, well, is he going to renege again and go to Philly? And so now it's done. Fangio's a Dolphin, and everybody can move on with their world.
And by the way, he never reneged in the first place.
Right. No, he just told them to be patient. Just be patient. We're bad at patience. I'm going to talk about my daughter because I'm taking her on the trip this week. But I had a conversation with my daughter this morning about patience because we were waiting in line to go on the elevator. And she's like frantically hitting the elevator and waiting for it to come. And we're in New York. It takes a long time for the elevator. And I'm like, patience, babe. Patience. It's a virtue. Learn it, please. And sometimes I feel like I have to have the same conversation with Dolphins fans. I know you've been hurt before, and so it's tough. You're always waiting to get hurt again, but sometimes patience is all you need. And in this case, that's all it was. A little patience.
You know anything about the assistant coaches that he may be wanting to add to his staff? I know we got the Donatel young man being interviewed. Anything else?
Yeah, Donatel would make sense as a secondary coach there. They're going to keep Sam Madison, but I think right now he's probably looking like he'll be the cornerbacks coach. Last year, he was more of the secondary coach, and Gregory was the safeties coach. So maybe he goes to just a position, and overall, you have a new guy running the secondary room. And then he's going to need a new outside linebackers coach after they got rid of Ty McKenzie. And so you can kind of look down at his roots. The problem this time of year is that everybody's looking for assistants. So he's competing with 4 or 5 different teams right now, and you're trying to figure out how can you get guys out of their contract, because you're talking about position coach jobs right now. And so it's hard to get a linebacker coach to come be a linebacker coach elsewhere because he's in the contract and you're not going to let him out. And so you're a little bit limited in options. So even an assistant linebacker coach, you got to let him out of his contract to be a linebacker coach. You can't, teams can be strict and say, hey, no, we'll decline it. So I don't really have any names yet as far as that position. I'm also intrigued to see, does he keep the rest of the staff? Does he want to make any more changes? And then kind of from there, we go to personnel. I know a lot of Dolphins fans weren't happy, but from what I understand, the special teams coach, Danny Crossman, will be back. And so everything.
Are you
will
shocked?
Be pretty much,
Are you shocked?
I'm not shocked because he's a survivor. He survived 3 different coaching regimes, and so I don't know the full reason, but whatever it is, he's a survivor. So maybe it's his relationship with Chris Greer, or maybe he does something behind the scenes that we don't see. But obviously, his special teams numbers haven't been great, and he's doing something to survive. So I'm surprised. I'm surprised based on his performance as a coach, but not necessarily because I've seen him survive throughout the last 3 or 4 years.
What was it? Destiny's Child that has this song, Survivor? Is that the one?
Right. Yeah. That is correct. That is correct. That is a music that I do know. Our whole half of our last segment was.
By the way, but you did you end up okay? You do know De La Soul now, right? You kind of felt silly, right?
I've heard some of his songs. Now I will say I am not a De La Soul expert.
Them, by the way, them, not him.
Yes, them. I'm not a De La Soul expert by any means. Like
I've
heard it. I've heard it before. Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I've heard it several times. I think it was on I think I heard one of the songs on a video game I used to play back in the day too. I'm not sure, but I remember hearing the melody and I'm like, yeah, I've heard this song countless times.
God, myself and I is like, it's like an all-timer, bro. It's like
absolutely
a banger.
Yeah,
like you say,
that's why I texted you right when I heard that song.
Yeah,
and then one other I heard that I texted you about. And I was like, yeah, I've heard these songs before. So
did you listen to Us 3 or Diggable Planets or Arrested Development?
I didn't go to Arrested Development, but I heard Us 3 and I heard Diggable Planet. So I kind of did my
Us 3, you had never heard Cantaloupe?
No, I had not. That was my first time hearing that for sure.
But it was good. But it was good, right?
It was.
It was good.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good for sure. So
that era is so good, man. There's so many good rap bands rap acts at that time.
There were so many, and I'm reminded of it because I grew up listening, or I actually not growing up. I went back and listened to a lot of Public Enemy and NWA and a lot of the hardcore rap, and so going back and listening to De La Soul, kind of reminder of just how the variety of rap back then, because obviously De La Soul has a little bit more of a positive vibe, they're I don't know if I would say like hippie, but they had kind of like a happy
it's like a psychedelic rap, right?
Yes,
it's
exactly. And then you transpose that with like NWA talking about F the Police and Public Enemy.
Talk about life. Talk about life.
Exactly what it's like in the hood, and so it's a drastic difference. I'm not saying maybe these guys came up in rough areas, but it was a different vibe of rap when rap was singularly one thing. And so it was a good reminder of me of the diversity of rap, even in the beginning.
Did you get to listen to De La Soul, the Buddy song? Did you hear that one?
No, I didn't.
I want you to hear Buddy.
Okay.
It's a great song, dude. And listen to the lyrics really well, and
Yes.
it's just so good the way it flows and the way it talks about human beings, like your buddy, different kinds of buddies, and you'll see what I'm talking about when you
Okay.
hear this song. It's
Okay,
really,
I'll check it
really,
out.
really, really good. Overall. All right, so free agency. I think the one position that they're going to try to fill badly is that middle linebacker spot. What do you think happens there? Because Fangio's going to need a badass middle linebacker. They really don't have one, man. I like their werewolves on the outside. Okay, I like Phillips and I like Chubb in the club, but
Yep.
I need that werewolf in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, you really just start looking at what the past history is of Vic Fangio, and a lot of times we have a new coach, they need somebody to implement their defense. And a lot of times that starts in the middle, which is that safety position, that linebacker position, or the defensive tackle position. And usually it's linebacker or safety because those guys can communicate the whole defense. And so I would look at some of his former players. I haven't got a deep dive into free agency yet. That'll be something I do in the next week or two after I get back. But you start to look at some of his former players who are free agents. I think A.J. Klein is one who I think is coming up, who's a linebacker that makes a lot of sense for me. I do think they'll add multiple linebackers because that's a room that needs depth, and so don't be surprised if they still bring back a guy like Landon Roberts. Well, I know he's had some mixed reviews for fans, but maybe he has competition and maybe he has a specific role rather than being their main guy there. And then
He can be his role of 2-down linebacker in running situations, bro.
Although I do think in Spurs this year he showed that he can do things. You just don't want him to play some of your best tight ends. Like you can get exposed in that. So you need your
I don't want him. I don't want him covering at all, bro. I'm sorry.
Right. So what I think is interesting is I'm curious what Vic Fangio's view of Jerome Baker is going to be, because
he don't fit.
So Jerome Baker's contract is guaranteed for this year, so he'll be here in 2023 in some capacity. But don't assume that he automatically has a 3-down every down role. And so, he's got to earn his way onto the roster. Shannon Tyndall is a guy they drafted, but they drafted him in mind of a Patriot-style scheme. How does he fit? And so, Vic Fangio, he did an interview with the Dolphins team site that I was listening to this morning, and he was like, hey, I'm going to give everybody a fresh slate, right?
I saw that.
In the same token, you pay Vic Fangio $4.5 million. He's going to have a lot of control over who plays, who doesn't, who's on his roster, who's not. And so if he doesn't like some of these guys who are already paid and core members of his team or supposed to be, then they're just going to move from it. So I think they come into this linebacker position and they might be starting fresh.
By the way, they've done that with Gesicki the last two coaches.
Yeah,
the last
absolutely.
two coaches, he didn't fit what they wanted to do, and they refused to play him.
Exactly. They paid Mike Gesicki over $11 million last year, and I think he probably had close to the same amount of catches as Durham Smythe did. It felt like, or at least the playing time. And so, yeah, clearly, when you bring in a new coach, like they did with Mike McDaniel last year, like they're doing with Vic Fangio, you give them the freedom to say it doesn't matter what guys are paid, it doesn't matter where guys are drafted. You can do what you can with your scheme. And so, assuming that a guy like Jerome Baker or a Raekwon Davis or a Shannon Tyndall, guys who were either drafted higher or got paid, are automatically going to be core pieces of defense, I think is a mistake. So I think, Javon Holland's going to be a core piece of defense. He's going to be there regardless, right? Xavier Howard, at least for the next year, is going to be a core piece of this defense. Christian Wilkins is going to be a core piece of defense. Zach Sealer as well, Jalen Phillips as well. I think beyond that, there's no guarantee for anyone else.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. I agree on that. And I think when you look at Baker, I would not be surprised if something you notice this offseason is Baker builds up his body. And he may have to, pick up a couple of extra pounds of muscles. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because they may want him to do something a little bit different. than he normally does. And he may have to fight through some traffic more often. He may have to be a better run stopper or try to be, that kind of stuff. I don't think he will have the luxury of being the outside blitz cover guy like he's kind of been, throughout. And I thought I thought Flo actually maximized him 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I thought
he did,
Flo,
and that's what got him paid.
yeah, I thought Flo really knew how to use him the right way. But obviously the scheme changed, and then now it's really changed even more. And so I'm wondering if they're going to have. Remember what they did to the safety 3 years ago, and he was a corner, and then they moved him to safety. Bobby McCain.
Bobby McCain. Yep.
And then he still, because of that, he ended up injured with a shoulder by the end of the year because he was just worn out doing things that he wasn't built to do. So I'm wondering if there's going to be a little bit of that with Jerome Baker this year.
Yes, let me give you 2 points of this, and then I gotta run because my daughter's a little restless here. But 2 things. I think it's a very interesting point because if you think about it, at the end of the season, they have like what they call end of the year reviews with players. It's usually the day after the season, and they tell them this is what you sucked at, this is what you're good at, this is what we see for you next year. And a lot of times, this is where offensive linemen get the conversation of, hey man, we're gonna move you to guard. So put on 20 pounds. Do what you need to do. We're moving you to guard, or we're moving you to tackle, and we need you to lose weight. Safeties as well. I think the interesting element, that's one thing. And so they could have had that conversation with Baker. A lot of times we don't know that until the summer. The second part of that is I wonder how much of those conversations have been had with the defensive guys with the uncertainty of the staff. Vic Fangio hasn't been officially hired until last week. And so guys have been on vacation. Guys have been gone. Technically, I don't know how much rules are always followed, but technically there's no contact with players until the April event. And so how much does the late hire of Fangio and then his assistants that he brings in impact the vision they have for players? And like Fangio said, he likes to give them a fresh slate and see them in person. And so maybe he can't make a decision on where he sees a guy, and so he sees them in camp in the off-season program. And so all of that makes it intriguing because obviously this is a team that's built to win now. And so you don't want to have a transition year, but it makes me think that for some guys or for some parts of Fangio's scheme, there may be a little bit of a transition where maybe he has guys here for a year and then he gets more of his guy in that position. We mentioned Jerome Baker, Raekwon Davis, guys like that. If they don't end up performing, maybe they're a 1-year stop here, and then he gets in his guy for that spot in 2024. Those are things that I think are part of the offseason that we should keep an eye on.
There you go. Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf. Catch his work there at the NFL Network and catch him twice a week here doing his thing with the KSDT CPA, Miami Dolphins and NFL Report. Get back to the family. Enjoy. You're in Disney, right? You're in Disney World, right?
No, I'm in New York in Times Square, but I'm in the Disney
Times
store.
Square. Okay, in the Disney store. Okay, I need a couple of extra tracks for my monorail. So if they have them there, get me a couple of boxes for those, okay? I needed to extend it around the tree a little bit more, okay?
I got you.
All right. You be good, brother.
Right.
Be safe out there. Enjoy the family.
Will do.
You got it. Cameron Wolf, baby. Ah, yes. The Wolf Pack has been unleashed.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
Alrighty. By the way, Bitcoin's already back over 24,000 to 24,343 right now. It was like a 24.5. By the way, Matic, if you're a Matic guy like I am, it is up 1.5%. It's up to $1.47, dude. $1.47. That is crazy. Matic was at 75 cents on December 30th. And it's now $1.47. So you've basically doubled your money if you bought the dip already. And those of, by the way, do you think my boy is happy today? Huh? Polkadot. Polkadot is up 8.67%. It got over $7 to $7.23, which is an all-time high right now for this year. Polka Dot, by the way, was as low as $4.48 on December 26th. Wait a minute, let me see here. $4.31 on December 28th. And it's at $7.21 now. I wonder where he got his Polka Dot. Is he complaining to me now? Because now that it's starting to turn up now, almost 9% today. It was just under $7, and it shot over $7 to $7.21. So that is awesome. Link is making a little move. It's only up 0.5%, but it's up to $7.45. I tweeted out like 4 or 5 days ago. I said Link is still cheap, man, under $7, because it was like at $6.50, $6.55, and I'm like, Link is going to go bonkers. I think Link will be worth $40, $50, $60, $70 down in a few years. I really do. I think it's going to explode. And now it's up to $7.45, so it's already gone up quite a bit since then. Those are some of the coins that I'm watching travel up. V-Chain, by the way, is up nearly 6.5%. So it's up to two pennies and 3/4, almost a quarter away from crossing the 3 penny mark. And so for those of you that bought it in the 1.5 penny mark and the early part of the 2s, you are now enjoying some real profits right now overall. So it's crazy stuff to watch, man. So that is awesome. Awesome. What else do we have out there? Been checking out a few Bills pods. Okay, I don't know why. Mr. Bonafide says, me, myself, and I in NBA Street Volume 2 introduced me to De La Soul. Oh, okay. They're so good. De La Soul they might be underrated, actually. Okay? That's what it is. They might be underrated. That's nuts. All right, what else do we have going on? Panthers won yesterday against the Capitals 6-3. We got the NBA All-Star Weekend. Team Giannis against Team LeBron on Sunday at 7:30. You saw Alvin Kamara was indicted by a grand jury for that beating. I think he's got some issues. He's got some problems. Travis Kelce to host Saturday Night Live on March 4th. They're going to release that Mike. Oh, by the way, did you see the Michael Irvin story? Now the hotel is going to release it because the courts required them to release it. Why weren't they willing to release it from the get-go? Does it put their employee in a bad light or something? Do they not want to put Michael Irvin in a bad light? What's the reasoning behind? I don't get it. Wouldn't you want that resolved?
I mean, I guess the only way you wouldn't do it is if you think it would put your case in bad light.
Yeah,
I would think, because you know it's going to help your case. Why not just release it?
Right, because Michael is suing your company now. Yeah. So, and I it just, that's the first thing I thought of. Like, it must be hurting your case or your company, and that's why you don't want to release it. But then that girl's also going to get fired.
Yeah, no. I mean, again, there's so many.
If that's the case,
yeah. Again, when you read
this
some
video
of the stuff
has to be
what
released.
happened, the video has to come out. But when you read, at least I don't know where they got the timeline of how everything went down. It's a pretty bizarre story all around.
Super bizarre, but it's costing somebody their career.
Yes.
And so you got to clear it up to make sure if he's guilty, then he pays the price. But if he's not guilty, you can't be penalizing an innocent man and putting him through an embarrassment. And let me tell you, the way he's attacked it.
No, he's going right after it, just like he did with
like
the
he did that other time that he was also
brought it up before.
That he was misrepresented and in the media and was blamed for something that he didn't do, and then he went after the media after and said, hey, show the same kind of energy that you did when you were indicting me, right? And so he's going after this like he's not messing around. So he must feel pretty good about Michael Irvin's done a lot of stupid crap in his life, so he should by now. You know what I'm saying? He's had enough experiences with the bad stuff that if he didn't do it, look, I've always said, if you think you're innocent, you're going to stand on every mountain and scream it and demand it that it be cleared up. Now, when you're not, you'll hide, you'll make excuses, you won't, you'll take the fifth.
You're not going to sue somebody for $100 million, knowing everything's coming out,
right?
Because at that point, every little thing's coming out. That's not the first step you take.
Amen. So I'm glad that story will be cleared up one way or another. The other thing that I saw was, the Messi to Inter Miami thing does not die. It's still going on. And I just, I know that Michelle's been all over this for a while now, Michelle Kaufman, but I saw another story. And while I've always thought that this story was, it's silly. And then after the World Cup, I thought it was even more silly because I thought somebody in Europe is going to step up and give him the contract that he wants, right? But then, you keep reading these articles now, and it still is kind of looking like, okay, it says there's been a lot of speculation about Messi joining the MLS, in particular Inter Miami. And now this could become a reality. L'Equipe is reporting that Messi's unsure about extending his contract with PSG, which expires this summer. The Mirror said PSG are preparing for the exits of both Messi and Neymar following a breakdown in the dressing room relations. Neymar is 31 and likely to stay in Europe, but Messi, who's now 35, although he's still one of the world's best players, is not getting any younger, so a move to the MLS would make sense. Argentina's longtime rival, Cristiano Ronaldo, joined Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia. Could be time for Messi to follow suit, leaving Europe. Miami's head coach Phil Neville has now ruled out signing Messi. Quoted in The Sun, "We want to bring the best players in the world to this club, and he's probably the best player for us. The landscape has not changed at all with any deal for any designated player of that level. It's complicated. It takes time." Messi would depart Europe at the top of his game, which would be arguably the greatest player of all time should. He has just won the World Cup with Argentina, which was the only major trophy that eluded him. His form from PSG this season is still very impressive. 10 goals, 10 assists in 18 appearances, and has 4 goals and 4 assists in 6 Champions League games. Given this form, however, there may be part of him that thinks he should continue to play at the highest level. So a return to Barcelona has been talked about in the past, but he has never played in the Premier League, although Manchester City, who has been linked with him in the past, would find it hard to fit him into that side that already has Erling Haaland and Jack Grealish and Phil Foden. So there we go. And so this whole Inter Miami thing, although Manchester City has more money than God, okay? I mean, they are like the richest club out there, which is crazy. So this Messi thing is really still alive, and I never really imagined that it would be. I would imagine that, or maybe this is all the posturing that he's waiting for Barcelona or somebody to step up with, an incredible contract. And maybe that's what this is all about. But the fact that it could possibly happen is kind of crazy, dude. I got to say, it's pretty impressive if it does happen. And it's not a Moss thing. I never doubted the Mosses. Those guys are maniacs. They're going to win. I don't care what anybody tells me. I know all the screw-ups and everything that happened and all that. They're going to overcome all of that. Those guys will learn from all these mistakes, and they're going to build a monster. I know they will. But it's just a matter of, was he going to come here? Because he still can play at a high level, and they can still pay him a boatload of money over there. They can't pay him here. And so I thought he would definitely have a contract already. So maybe this is all posturing, and he finally gets that contract from one of the European clubs, and he stays. But the craziness is that this is still alive here. It's pretty wacky. Miami Sports Fanatic says, Big O, seems like Edmonds is actually going to be allowed to hit free agency. This is what he said in an event in an agency, at his agency. "I'm going to let the process take shape." Edmonds told Fox Sports last week in Phoenix. You know what I mean? That's been good to me. So I'm definitely saying thank you to the Bills for everything that they've done for me for the last 5 years. But like I said, man, I'm in the back seat. So I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see. We'll see if he does become a free agent. We'll see if Miami goes after him, and then we'll talk about it. You know what I mean? But I hope so. They need a badass linebacker. Green Line says Moss is willing to. Moss will spend all the money in the world. That he's not going to go cheap on anything. Okay, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. They just now. This is the last year of their financial issues, and then they open that up too. So that'll give the GM an opportunity to grow. But there's no doubt that the Moss brothers will spend. All you have to do is look at that stadium that they built in Fort Lauderdale for fun. For fun. While they're waiting for the real stadium. It's crazy. Yes, sir.
I wanted to ask you something about, did you hear what John Skipper said about the NFL and the Super Bowl?
No.
About they'd make more money off it if they took the Super Bowl pay-per-view?
Yeah, that's that. No, they won't.
No, I definitely know they won't, but...
No, they won't.
I mean,
he's ridiculous. That was a stupid comment on his part. Apple paid $50 million just for halftime.
Exactly. You're good.
Just for halftime.
You make enough money off it already. I mean, even if
halftime,
nobody's going to pay to watch that. The reason
they're paying through the nose for, they're not talking about this. They're paying through the nose for the pregame commercials.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pregame,
yes,
not the $7 million during the show during the game. Pregame, they're selling everything, dude. No, it won't be pay-per-view.
No,
you want the most eyes,
exactly,
because you limit advertising if you go pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. Because you only have a certain amount of
money
eyes.
If you go pay-per-view,
you lose money. Yep. Yes. So I don't know who wrote that, but I saw something like that somewhere, and I was like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I know you have to keep the Super Bowl free so you could get more and more people around the world watching. And that's what you're doing, because remember, the sport is growing internationally. So you're gaining more countries, you're gaining more fans. And as you keep taking games to London and to Germany and to Mexico City, you're expanding your fan base too. And then and by the way, the NFL is getting money from all those European rights and Central and South American rights that are sold and all of that. So yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense. That, again, it's the off season. Let's write a bunch of BS like, oh, we should look into Lamar Jackson. No, they shouldn't. That's stupid. But whatever. You got to fill space. So, yeah, I'm with you there. Let's see. Oh, where's the money going to come from to pay for Messi in Miami? Moss, bro. You know they're billionaires, right? They'll pay us. You have three DPs. They don't go against the cap. Oh, and Moss doesn't lack any money, bro. That's don't worry about that. You don't have to worry about the Moss brothers and cheap. That doesn't fly with those guys. They want to win, and they're fanatical about it. Okay?
They're not worried about that luxury tax?
No, they're not worried. Yeah, they're not going to be crying luxury tax. Yeah, that's not what they're going to do. They just built a $180 million stadium for fun, bro, in Fort Lauderdale to house their team for a couple of years while they go really build the real stadium. You know, people don't do that. They just don't build. By the way, it's the same amount of money that it costs for the AAA to build. If I remember correctly, the AAA was $186 million. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, they got plenty of money, bro. The Moss brothers will do it. Don't worry. I just think people get kind of jaded because of the mistakes the first couple of years and all that kind of stuff, and had to make changes and all that. Those are mistakes that everybody makes when they take over a new business. And something that's new to them, they're going to make mistakes. That's normal. That's part of life. But eventually, the Moss brothers are going to build a monster, and the baseball team is going to have a lot of pain because this town will eventually get behind the soccer team, because the soccer team will be good. They'll be one of the better teams in the MLS. It's just not going to happen right away, but it will happen. It will happen. I promise you that. Big O Radio Show, you got it. Big O Radio Show. March can't get here fast enough, and I hope the Finns go after him because he's one of the bad mofos Fangio needs. Also, taking him from Buffalo is much sweeter. You're right. I would agree with you 100%. Have you looked into Jasmine Coin? Oh, no, I don't. I don't know anything about it.
Let's see. Derek Carr visiting Jets. That makes sense. Makes sense. Do you think it was a good idea that the MLS switched their games over to Apple? I think they had no choice, Ray. I don't think they were doing very good with the other deals. And with Apple, it brought them solid revenue for the 30 clubs. So I think it's not a bad move for them. I don't know if 5 years from now or 10 years from now, if the league grows, if that'll be beneficial for them. But at the moment, it is. At the moment, it is. It's what they needed to do. I don't have a problem with it. They're a young league, man. They've got to try to lock up as much revenue as they can for themselves. It's not an easy thing. Let's see what else. Yes, sir.
Ian Rappaport saying a very interesting one. Derek Carr is high on the Jets list.
Makes sense.
Does he fit in there?
See,
I know what you're saying about the New York.
Aaron doesn't fit there.
What you're saying about the New York media and all that, is that because I don't know a lot about Derek Carr.
But he's a good dude. He's not going to say stupid shit like Aaron is. Aaron's going to say crap that, and so he's going to stir stuff up. Derek Carr is really a first class human being.
Okay.
And so I think the New York media, yeah, they might go after him, but it's just for his play. It won't be because he said something politically crazy or he said something off the cuff or he ripped his teammates or, whatever. You know what I mean? Like Aaron can say whatever the hell he wants, and then it's going to stir crap up. And then I'm with Tiki Barber on this, and I've said it before Tiki said it. Aaron doesn't fit in New York. He'll lose his mind in New York. Where I think Derek Carr, as long as he performs, you know what I mean? I think he'll be all right there. I think he'll be, I think it's better for him to go to New Orleans or Carolina, to be quite honest. New York is a really tough market, but he's a better fit there than Aaron Rodgers.
I just found it interesting you said high on the list just because I guess every quarterback out right now is high on the Jets list.
They only have a couple guys. They can only go after Garoppolo or Carr or Rodgers.
That's it.
And really, Rodgers is not the guy you want. He probably is better off to go to the Raiders. Hide there in Vegas and hang out with your buddy. You're a West Coast guy, all that stuff, and that's it. And then Carr, I guess New York is fine. That's fine. Personally, I'd rather get Carr than Garoppolo.
Okay, I was going to ask you
because he's more durable.
Yeah, but for me, for a Dolphin fan, you want him to have Jimmy G, right?
Yes. 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 I'd rather the Jets sign Jimmy G. Yes.
Because Zach Wilson will be in by week 3.
Right.
Maybe 4.
Yeah, maybe. And if you sign Garoppolo, then you've got just, 2 chick magnets playing quarterback. One MILF magnet and one chick magnet.
I was going to say.
Oh, man. Do you think Fangio will give Byron Jones a clean slate? Byron Jones is not going to be on this roster, my man. So I'm not sure what you're watching. Byron Jones is cut. He's done. He's history. They'll cut Byron Jones this year. They'll cut X next year. Unless X has this incredible season and talks him into extending him for another year or whatever, something like that. Maybe they can extend it for a year that they can get out of it. But I doubt that very much. Byron Jones is gone. He will not be here. Big ol' Matthew Kachuk must be wondering, what the hell did I do to get myself here? He had so much high school level as well as playing with a burr up his butt, which is very rare these days. I know. But it was a good win yesterday. I was entertained yesterday. All right, we thank Ira Winderman. We thank Manny Navarro, Scott Pianowski, and Cameron Wolf. We thank Sean Stanley, as always. Jeffrey Tarabolis, of course, the managing partner here at KSDT CPA, Alan Kinkle, all the great people out here to make it nice and easy for us to do it every single month. Who knows? In the next couple months, we could be doing a show up in Broward or in Palm Beach. You just never know. But we are out of here. You guys have a great weekend. I'll see you crypto freaks tomorrow at 1 o'clock. We will do the Crypto Bro Show tomorrow at 1 o'clock. A lot of things to talk about on that show. Anyway, see you all tomorrow. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back on Monday for the sports. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Thank you all.